Fuck, I missed it again. Welcome, everybody, to O Menos Mexicanos. There's a beat there that I'm supposed to introduce myself on, and I missed it. Welcome, everybody, to... Whoa, why was that so fast? Nope, that's right.
Vroom.
That's O Menos Mexicanos. There you go. It just seemed like a... you know what? Let's slow it down. Let's get a longer fade in here. Oh, yeah. O Menos Mexicanos. Welcome, everybody. Let's slow that fade down and get on with it. Hi, everybody.
Did you change the intro? I don't remember it sounding like that.
Nope.
It's just been playing for longer.
Yeah, you just heard all of it. No, there's a whole theme song. Hi, everybody. I'm not on cocaine. I just have a booger. I'm Sammy Gonzalez, a.k.a. The Mexcellence. Sounds like I'm telling on myself. Welcome to O Menos Mexicanos. We are talking about Mexican things. You know. So, guys, when's the first time you ever had a lowrider?
I'm not doing
When's the first time you spray painted, essay?
It's kind of funny. Your idea of Mexican and my idea of Mexican are completely fucking different because lowrider would not make top 10.
That's because you're from Texas. You forgot to have Tejanos.
Yeah, bro. We have horses that can dance. That's way cooler.
we have cars that can dance on the back two wheels.
Yeah, but that's just programming. You know, it's hard.
Who's programming cars?
Bro.
Elon can't do it, and he's Mr. Smart Guy.
Well, Elon's not that great.
Exactly, but what I'm saying, he's Mr. Smart Guy. Yeah, we got cholos in the hood making cars that can dance and drive vertically.
Hey, man.
With the power of water.
With the power of water.
My grandpa was doing it with the power of whip. So, I mean...
that is a time-honored tradition of whipping animal until it does things.
It's easy to tell a machine to do things. Try telling an animal to do things.
that can kick you into tomorrow.
But there's been 100 years of history of being able to whip horse.
Well, by now, there's probably 100 years of history.
No, but you're not... Yeah, what I'm saying is you're not breaking... wild horses like the first indigenous people had to do when the horses came. Like, that's insanity. Like, we're gonna be like, I'm gonna ride that motherfucker.
Well, first off, indigenous people never broke horses. The Spanish brought them over.
There's indigenous Spaniards. They were called the Moors. No, the Moors took over.
Horses are technically an invasive species.
Right. What I'm saying is, the first half of us, the Spaniards, or in your case, the Italians, they...
Little horses.
Somehow jumped on a horse. Yeah, horses over a car. El Awesome Guy, your band now. Welcome to your first show and your band. No, I'm just saying that cars are the new horses. And why do they call them whips? There you go. Boom. Point made.
No one calls them whips.
And also horsepower. They got more horsepower. So you only got 1 horsepower. These fucking lowriders have so much horsepower.
They don't have that much horsepower when they're bouncing up and down.
But they can do both. Hi, everybody. I'm Sammy Gonzalez. Arguing with me, we have...
Hey, my name's Marco. How's everyone doing today? I'm low energy today, mostly because I'm saving it for the weekend, but yeah.
I was like, you're saving it for your virginity. I was like, wait a minute.
I prayed and it came back. My hymen.
It's not the
my man hymen.
It's not the sexlence. It's not the sexlence. It's not the sexlence. Your foreskin
I missed it
now. Your foreskin retightened. Anyway, and joining us on the other side. God, that got gross for no reason. Actually, foreskins are natural. We have.
Why do I have to follow the foreskin?
You can follow the 5 ones.
Nope.
Superman.
Superman.
I explained this last time. Just a robot chicken sketch. Anytime Superman does something stupid, he goes, Superman.
Gotcha.
Stay pure, kings.
Exactly. My virginity is intact. Thank the Lord. But no,
You can see that shit on you.
I know. His name is Gojira.
I literally heard the story of when you lost your virginity on episode 1 of The Sexcellence.
Which is available where, Marcos?
If you just give me $5, I'll just send it to you.
Or give us $50. Give us
a Google Drive with all our explicit material.
It'll literally have an etch-a-sketch of each of our penises. Like I won't send you an actual picture.
No.
But an etch-a-sketch.
No, etch-a-sketch is too detailed. No, it's those little imprint sticky pokes.
That
you go.
You
there
think
you
that's less detailed than an etch-a-sketch?
No, but mine's bigger, so it's literally just a straight line that's this wide. It's really impressive.
No, they make big-ass ones.
Oh, well, there you go. We'll get one of them big-ass ones, and I'll still go off the edge. So there you go. You'll never know. But no, Patreon, folks. you can be like El Gran Chile, Joe Gira, who we still have to record his episode. Shoot, if we're not doing anything, I know we got Paco in town this weekend. He has sent us a cache of videos, but essentially he wants us to review a channel I actually really enjoy of AI covers that ruin your favorite tunes. So he sent us about 10 of those, but I'm going to get into a few more. There's another AI tool that we could play with, so we'll make it a whole thing. It'll be a whole fun episode. Thanks to Joe Gira, the producer of that episode, by being El Gran Chile. And because he paid twice already, because he paid last month and this month, he gets another one next month. So Joe Gira, start thinking about your episode for next month. These are all prorated in the forward way. So next up, though, we want to thank Super Mexcelente Deluxe Timothy Lane Jr., who gets 2 entries into our raffle for a t-shirt. That's right. If you are Super Mexcellent 2 Turbo, Super Mexcelente Deluxe, or El Gran Chile, or any of the other certain amounts on our Patreon, you get entered into get a free Mexcellence t-shirt. So we also want to thank our Super Mexcellent 2 Turbo patrons: Austin Broha, Christina, Maggie, Raquin 23, the newest Scene Oro, and Wimp Blue W. So if you want that exclusive content, if you want the newest episode of The Sexcellence with Christina, who came into town, where we talk about kinks, that's right, we talk about kinky stuff, you can join us there. Now,
I think it's funny because everyone's running with the Etch-a-Sketch joke. That's going to be like a real, like, when's our next anniversary show? That'll probably be a gift at this point.
It's a sketch of our penis. It'll get lost in the mail. That's the whole point.
They're literally asking what's the mailing address for the Etch-a-Sketch.
It won't get lost in the mail, but I'm pretty sure it's going to get shaken up.
So I'm saying the image will get lost in the mail. We were just talking about postage bastards, by the way. Fuck you, Southern California postage, for losing my girlfriend's goddamn K-pop t-shirts. Fuck you, lady, you dumb a-hole. Sorry, it's been a whole saga. She knows what I'm talking about.
Probably just fell off the lowrider, bouncing up and down. See, if it was a horse, it would have been fine.
What is this? Not the goddamn Wells Fargo Pony Express shit? No. Also, the post office doesn't have lowriders, but now I want a post office lowrider.
I bet you can Google it.
I'm going to. What did you think I was hoping you would vamp a little more. Post office lowrider. Vamp. There's a. I was like, is that a?
Is it the brown UPS truck?
No, it's a lowrider mailbox. I kind of love it. I kind of want a fucking candy apple red. I know it's purple, but
oh, they actually don't have one of those. I guess it's because of the model.
Post office truck lowrider. You got to be able to. Oh, there it is. That's more Houston though. That still works though.
Yeah.
There you go. Hell yeah. Lowered postal truck. Anyway.
Still tipping.
Oh yeah, Maggie, you're not getting your shirt because these guys told me you didn't want it. She wants it apparently.
I don't remember saying that, but I also don't not remember that.
There you
I was
go.
like, March. I just blinked, bro. I started working March 8th, and then it was just like, oh fuck, it's like what, April
18.
Did you pay your taxes?
Yeah, I did. On the last day.
Fair enough. Fair enough. There's digital.
Me and JJ were in the living room watching Fallout, and I was like, oh fuck, like
Down to the wire.
Like back in the day, you used to have the line that the ABC channel 30 would be like, here's all the dipshits waiting to fucking post their mail at the last minute, waiting in line trying to put it in the slot. Do you remember those days? Did they do that in Eagle Pass? Were there enough people in Eagle Pass to have a line at the post office? Is there a post office at Eagle Pass?
Yes, it's pretty big.
But I didn't know that actually happened because I mean I saw it on The Simpsons, but
Right. Oh no, it's a real thing.
Like chucks it.
That's the thing, man. It's a different era, and that's actually the premise of this episode. We're talking about parenting, what we got in trouble for from our parents. Marcus, you're a parent. Me, I got a girlfriend that I like, and something sexcellence joke I'm going to leave out because that's for the sexcellence. Point is, being a dad is on the horizon for me, potentially. What? Yeah, that's right.
No,
that's right.
It's very dating similar. Like, I have a girlfriend that I like, and
We're going steady.
Like, as soon as I get that persona link to 10, oh boy.
I'm not. I have to
After
do the
a few
gift.
more dates and I answer a couple of questions about her correctly.
All right. I got the VAT system on Fallout going, just like boop boop boop. on what she likes, but that's
Man,
not the
I
right
really
usage
want to
of that.
make you or Tommy play Persona, but it's funny because with your girlfriend, I'd just imagine being like a series of like RuPaul's Drag Race. Who was the drag queen that won at season 3?
Oh, wait. Persona has questions of those such as?
Well, not in exactly like that, but it'll be like, this girl's really into animals. Like,
Oh, I would
basically-
remember shit. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I have one relationship I'm happy with. I don't need 5 of them because I want to romance all 5
You
of
can
them.
only pick one in Persona.
Oh, well, then that's not
I mean,
even fun.
you can, but then they all beat you up.
That's
like real
fine.
life.
That's fine. I'm good at lying. I will deceive all of them because
That's
There's
not an-
only one ending if you go with more than one.
and they
it's
all
bad.
beat you
And they
up.
all beat you up.
Well, then I will write it out because it's not real. Anyway,
What you got to do is create multiple save files. And
oh my god, that is too many things.
You don't save scum and everything?
Oh no, I
Not even
live
in Red Dead?
I live and die by my actions. Red Dead's different.
No, like, everyone saves scums in some game.
I only do it so I don't. Spoiler alert for a 6-year-old game. So I don't get the goddamn cholera. All right. I make sure I save before I get cholera, and then I live a happy life doing cowpoke shit. All right.
You don't do the, like, I hate this guy, save, shoot him in the face.
Oh no, I live with the consequences. I kill motherfuckers as much as I want in that game. It's really easy to get like the bad ending because I wanted the bad ending and I had real good honor. So I just started killing cows and murdering people. Like, it took me 3 minutes to get like full max evil because I just kept grenading cows. It was awesome. Animal cruelty is like one of the worst things you can do in that game. But
that doesn't necessarily parse with my morals, but okay.
what do you mean? Oh, like hitting animals?
I mean, yeah, that's bad, but like I eat cows.
Oh.
Grenade them.
Right. No, but you can't eat them after you grenade them. But point is,
There's probably some edible parts still.
point is, that brings us to our episode, which starts off with beating people. You're not supposed to beat animals in the video game, and you're not supposed to beat children, but Mexican parenting, we're going to start off with beating your children because here's the thing. If you actually just go straight to the post I made for the advertisement for this show, I did some hack stuff. You know me. I don't like being a hack. I don't like being the type of person.
You love being a hack. What are you talking about?
I don't like being a hack when it comes to the detriment of my culture and my people's. Oh yeah, you're right. No, I like being a hack, but this was the image I went with for this episode. And for those of you who are listening, look at the thumbnail on your phone. But I have Dora the Explorer with silver tooth mouth, a belt, a chancla, and then 2 Mexican parents. And
You forgot, like, the chubby Mexican kid with just underwear on.
oh, I thought you were just drinking a gallon of soda or 2 liters of soda, also in his underwear. But look, see, it's like bringing back good times. Those aren't good times. Getting beat with a belt is child abuse now. We didn't know that back then. We had a different world, but there's still. We'll talk about it because I'm just kind of setting the stage for.
Is this going to, like, what's the worst thing your parents beat you with, like, kind of thing?
No. I want to start with what I still see because as much as we talk a big game about, millennials, we're going to be bigger, better parents. We're going to change and break the mold and stuff like that. I just want to bring up this video that when you brought up this topic, Marcos, I was like, ugh. Also, have a good night, Christina. Talk about millennial parenting. She's parenting her child at Disneyland. So there you go. Millennial parents. But there's another element where...
What'd you go, ugh, originally kind of thing?
Oh, because I'm looking at the image of what I'm about to talk about.
Oh, in my brain was just kind of like, I was flying to Philadelphia and then for some reason, I had this random mental thought because the person next to me was like going through their, I don't know why, but they were going through their Magic the Gathering deck kind of thing. And they were just... I'm not a card player like that. I tried to be when I was 14, but then I figured out how expensive it was. Like, I have to go back and buy.
Also, all them kids were mean.
And likely smelled. Yeah, I said it.
So I never fully got into it. I was given one deck, and then I just stopped taking care of it. But my parents did find it like 3 or 4 months later, and they were like, "What's the satanic stuff?" And I was just kind of like, oh, like that's just a card game. But I got in trouble with it because it was they thought all the imagery of it.
What's the Black Lotus? That's the most expensive card in the game. Why did you throw that out? Demonio. No, but going back to kind of the and looking at this lady to kind of set the tone of what I was talking about in terms of us trying to be better, you know?
Yeah.
Demon stuff, that's what you got. I got
that's only one.
Bad influence stuff where that was a big thing is what's influencing us. I like to say we're better now, but then I see videos like this where the premise of this video is this lady is pretending to be, actually, that's not even the original. Damn. She's pretending to be an angry tia, like an angry auntie, and she's just deriding a fictional child. The video on the right is just her doing it to the screen, and then these parents are showing it to their children because they think, ha ha, hilarious. We love yelling at our children.
Knock it off. Be nice to your mom. She told you to stop being bad. Why are you being bad? You want Auntie to get mad? You want pow pow? You want pow pow? No iPad. I don't care. Why are you crying? Don't cry. No more. Stop.
I would pick the one kid that didn't fucking cry. No,
I was about to say that's not
like
very.
This kid. No, this kid. There's kids that are just like bawling, terrified of this goddamn. Maybe this lady.
I'm sure there,
Hey,
like it did work to a
stop.
degree, but that one's not.
Don't cry.
This kid. What the fuck? This kid
No
don't
more.
give a fuck. Oh, there we go. There's a kid
Hey.
crying.
Stop. Knock it off.
Jesus Christ, never mind. But the point is, I should have been more prepared with a better clip, thinking that every one of those I saw myself, kids were crying, right? And someone else did this. Yeah, people are doing this, but that's
a faker for sure.
right. But that finger in the face type of do what I say. Why are you crying? George
I got
Lopez
the
had a
whole
full
hand.
bit, huh?
I got the whole hand.
Oh, well, see, that's more polite. Disney
Knife
says
hand.
this thing.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. That right there, I kind of got upset about personally that, like, are we really still doing this shit? Are we still doing the pow-pows? Are we still doing the beating our children? Are we still doing the, like, well, I was raised like this, therefore, and I'm okay. And any person that ever says I was raised like this and I'm okay, I don't think they're okay. Most of the time, they're like, my dad beat me with a belt 7 times a week, and I'm okay. And it's like, no, dude, you are not. And I find it's a nice correlation between that. Maggie, I couldn't wear black. That's how her parents were because that could have been satanic. And now all she is a fairy goth. That's all
goth.
Maggie is right now, is a fairy goth in response to that.
I couldn't post because at a certain point I got caught up with doing work shit. But I posted the question, I think around my lunchtime, but just 1:00,
Right.
About what did you get in trouble for? Kind of
Right.
thing.
And that's what we'll get into to start, right.
Well, it's something that I didn't get to post, but I was just like, that's very relevant to this topic. Is there is some one of the male viewers I got in trouble because I was playing with Barbies, so my dad beat me.
Gee, wait, that was here?
Yeah.
I'm reading it right now.
It didn't get posted because I read it on the way here, like literally 5 minutes ago.
Oh no, I'm looking at the list right now. I can't see it. But that's still fucked up. Oh, there it is. Yeah, Dad thought it was being gay. I was really making do things. I was really making them do things. Oh, was he slapping them together like having maybe? I don't know.
Guess so.
Who's never used a G.I. Joe and Barbie to slap together because you don't know what sex is, but you know it's slapping together
Old
at some
friend
point.
from Lubbock, Argo, came in just to say that he got in trouble for Avenged Sevenfold.
Too much meaty guitar on the goddamn Avenged Sevenfold. Let's see, we got other people suspended from school for fighting in the cafeteria. Okay, like, don't do that. Climbed up a tree and got on the roof. I was 6. Okay, well, that's just unsupervised parents. You can't get mad at a kid for a climbing kid, especially. Let's see here. Almost got suspended the day before 6th grade graduation for being in a brawl. Okay, like, fights, they happen, then that's, you deserve to get in trouble. Now, if you're getting beat up for getting into a fight, that's counterproductive.
I know people that got beat up for getting into a fight and
It's
lost.
fucking counterproductive. Uttering the words, I am bored. The lecture was awful and dreadful. And then these are the ones that you did post. Borrowing a friend's game, toy, or DVD. That I didn't get in trouble for, but that was weird territory.
Yeah.
Borrowing games, that was weird territory.
I got in trouble for borrowing, but not from my parents.
their other person's parents?
Yeah, because apparently the person that I borrowed it from like didn't clear it with mom and dad.
Right.
And they had a younger sibling, so the younger sibling, it was Pokemon Snap.
Mm-hmm.
I borrowed Pokemon Snap, and the way
Yep.
the way I always borrowed shit was like, hey, look, bro, I'll lend you one of my games, so that way we both have skin.
Right, in the game, exactly,
You have to give
yeah.
me back my game if you want Pokemon Snap back.
Right. And you had to be willing to lose the game that you had to
Right.
earn the game that you got.
So, like one day he calls me on the house phone and is like, hey, dude, could you come over? We lived really close to each other.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, yeah, sure. I'll walk over. Bring the game back, too. Oh, yeah, sure. No problem. So I got the game. I went over to his house, and his mom was just like staring daggers at me, like, whoa, what the fuck did I do?
Right. I didn't steal the game. What's going on here? Did you get your game back?
I did get my
Okay,
game
just
back.
making sure. Just making sure.
He got Pokemon Snap back, and it was all good. Like, I just wanted to play Pokemon Snap.
What game did you give him? Do you remember?
I don't remember what game I gave him, but it had to be an N64 game, so maybe Donkey Kong?
Oh, ooh, that's not a fair trade. Like one of the all-time classes, Pokemon Snap. It's all
But
right.
I think Donkey Kong was old at that point.
No. No. He said, and that was the one that you needed the pack for. That was one of the first ones. Either way, long story short, we got other
I
people.
thought Pokemon Snap was one of the last N64 games.
Yeah, but it didn't make it great. It was still a
Oh,
little
no, I'm
goofy.
just saying that, like, once you've passed Donkey Kong, you've passed... That game's too hard to do a replay.
That's fair. But we have another one
Well,
using.
you
Good.
couldn't 100% Donkey Kong. There was like a coin or something that was impossible to find.
Jesus
It
Christ.
wasn't until like 5, maybe 6 years ago that someone finally found it.
Like glitched it, found it and glitched it.
I will say I am surprised by the amount of feedback we got online and the amount of feedback we're getting in the chat. Asking for food at someone's house.
Dad said it made us look like we didn't have any money for food. Back when teachers could hit us, my cousin would get in trouble for hitting back the bullies. Like hitting is the one where it's like you shouldn't hit the person or get the person in trouble for hitting somebody if they're bullying. But I do want to finish this one. Using all the papers for drawing, cut the toaster with scissors while it was plugged in. That's just I'd probably. Now I wouldn't beat the child, but I'd be like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
I probably wanted to ask him if they got beat with the cord after, like, they yanked it out. And
Yeah, Ugh, that feels like it hurts. Watching the TV 10 inches away, I did that and I got in trouble. Fighting with boys, breaking a TV, but they didn't know how to properly put on the legs. Okay, I'm gonna put that person out because that's not too big of a crime. Josh Man Forever, you can't scapegoat. You can't be like, I broke the TV, but they didn't know how to put on the legs. No, you own up. You broke the goddamn TV. Just own up to it. It's okay. It's okay now. You're an adult. You have your own
this
TV
table
now.
then falls.
Let's see. Hello, how are you today? Cheeseman559, Fresno. What's up? Bad grades, punching my brother. Okay, bad grades, getting punished. I was closer in there.
I got yelled at for getting bad grades, but it was bullshit because they misprinted the report cards that time.
Oh,
So I got a stern talking to from my dad about like this is unacceptable, blah blah blah. And I was like, I don't know what the fuck I did. Like,
Right.
you've seen my tests; they're all 90s. Like,
yeah. I don't know. I'm no mathematist, but 90s across the board shouldn't be a C. But I got expelled for being gay. Did my mom get a lawyer? Nope. It's my fault. Suspended because homophobic principal wanted to punish me, not the girls throwing pencils at me. Spanking from my mom. That's the thing. I was the youngest, so a lot of my punishments were literally the fear of God. And that's why I have, like, even though I'm not tremendously Catholic, I have tremendous Catholic guilt. Because being the youngest of four, all of the punishments levied to the older ones were like, kind of like the Avatar state, where it's like you see all your pasts. They were just all my siblings' beatings into mine. And so it was like, don't make that same mistake. Because your brother already paid for it 2-3 years ago. Your sister already paid for it 10 years ago. Your other sister did. They messed up. They failed. And look what happened to them.
Don't play with the knives. I know better now.
Oh no! Well, that was the thing. It was don't play with the knives, but I do have a cut on my finger for playing with a knife. So like, there was times I didn't listen. That's the problem. Why I like this. What I got in trouble for is so hard because I was too scared to do anything troublesome.
Yeah.
And so you guys, I'm sure you guys. I mean, you guys were bootlegging liquor in high school. I wasn't doing anything of the sort.
I didn't tell my mom about that.
Right? No. But you took.
Actually, the worst crimes that we did, my parents didn't get mad at me for that.
Well, the worst legal crimes or
Yeah, like in the sense
Crimes
of, like,
of
I could
law.
actually go to jail for that. I never got in trouble for them because, This is always one of my favorite stories. Is like we would always go to Gabriel's house. That's where everything always was. And at one point, like we were playing Counter-Strike. Everybody was on a computer, and we told the little brother, like, no, we just didn't have room for him. Like, hey, like, go downstairs. You can't play Counter-Strike with us today. And he got really, really, really mad.
I understand. I'm a younger brother. I've been in that position before, and I'm mad for him.
And he went downstairs, and he told the mom, and he was like, hey, upstairs, they're drinking all the time.
Okay,
they're doing weed. No, none of this was a lie.
Oh.
They're drinking, they're smoking weed, they're having sex on the couch, they have 3 guns upstairs.
Wait, okay, the last 2, were those true?
Yes, all of the things
Wait, so you guys were having a LAN party and then someone just getting poon on the couch.
I mean, it was after everyone went to sleep, but
fair, okay.
But it was just like one day because he told his mom everything at once. He was like, "Oh, he's making up shit," but all of it was true.
I like Cheeseman because Cheeseman actually got me back to like my era. Because once again, I don't know who Cheeseman 559 is, but 559 is Fresno, which is where I'm from. One time I got a dress code for wearing a hat, but I'm like, why is that dress code? How is that distracting other people? They're going to be like, oh, cool hat, and then going back to work. They're not going to be staring at your hat all day. Like, why the hell did the school do that, man? Well, I know the reason why they did it, or our school. It was they didn't want us to be gang affiliated, but they really couldn't say that right away. Like it wasn't until a while that
straight
they
up
said
told
that.
us like, don't wear jerseys. It's gang affiliation.
Right. That's what they told us about the gang. Same thing with the hats. Where it's like if you were they don't let you wear hats in clubs in certain areas over there because of the implication of that. But like I never understood that either. So like the worst thing I got in trouble, there was a fight. But even then I didn't even get that. I got suspended on my birthday. And that was fine. But the punishment I got was not from my folks. It was from myself because I gave myself Bell's palsy because I stressed myself out after this fight. Do you know what Bell's palsy is?
It's what JR has.
Exactly. I gave that to myself in 8th grade because I got into a fight with a kid who I think I've told you this. This is like you guys can fuck with me, call me fat all you want, and I know I'm giving ammo to the people out there, but you're never gonna see me, and if you try it, I'll kill you. But they would.
I was about to say we don't insult that. We
no, but you can. The idea is that I have a thick enough skin for it.
Yeah.
But I've always had a fair share of man titty. You know, a little bit to a lot at varying degrees of my life. And this kid started like scooping them. That was the thing. It was scoop, and they would do it, and it was like sexual harassment. Technically, it's sexual harassment, but it's guy thing. So it's like what? What's funny?
I think that was like a bit in heavyweights.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Like it was there.
I'm not
So,
saying that
like-
it's a thing. I don't like being touched, but I think it was a legit bit in heavyweights. So they're just.
I will have to go look at the tape. But that's the idea, right? It was that was the era. People were putting hands on people they shouldn't have been. And so this kid, I remember his name, fucking Mishal. I know his last name. I'm not gonna say it though. Fucking Mishal. He did it, or his friend did it, and Michelle was talking, and so I just fucking clocked him. I clocked him, and he clocked me, but it didn't hurt because he couldn't punch, because he couldn't fight. Neither one of us could fight, to be fair. But this is 8th grade. But I got in trouble for fighting, but my dad was like, "Guy was messing with you?" Yeah, okay. Well, then my dad fought all the time. Told the stories of him fighting all the time. He didn't give a shit. But because of the stress, like a couple days later, I'm like, "Hey guys, how's it going?" This is like the morning, and he's like, "So, how are you guys doing?" This side of my face just went completely droopy. Let me see if I can find Bell's palsy.
Just want a picture of JR.
Exactly, yeah. When you look at JR, so it's this right here. That's a perfect example where half your face just droops down. And you're just like, what's going on, guys? How you doing? Your lip gets all weird. This is middle school, mind you, when everybody's all fucked up. And, like, we'll pick on you and shit. What?
Sorry, I'm like, when you're like, oh, everything's all fucked up. And I was like, what, puberty only hit one side of your face?
Well, not even that, no. I wasn't even puberty yet. I was a late bloomer. It was like freshman year before my voice dropped and shit. It was weird. So, like, my face was droopy. My ear was like, my hearing was cut in half. My taste was cut in half. And so I'm over here like this. Hi, everybody. I'm the water boy. And that was my worst punishment for getting in trouble, was I gave myself Bell's palsy. My dad got me with the belt one time because I said the word gay. I said, "That's gay." And I was like 7, 8, or 9. I was at my old house, and he hit me with the belt, and it didn't hurt, but I knew that it was supposed to hurt, and I knew I was supposed to feel bad. And so that was that. But I'm trying to even think of my most egregious, like, in troubleness, because I was so afraid to be a bad kid and to get in trouble because of the lineage. My dad was too tired to put hands or beat me anyway. And so it was just that fear of disappointment that I punished myself with the most. And boy, howdy, therapy has taught me you can live in a nice world of hurt when you have guilt as one of your primary functions of punishment, which is honestly a lot of people can vouch for because a lot of people are Mexican or Catholic. So like, if it's not the hand, it's the hand of the Lord. But JJ, you had a different situation with your folks because you had...
Oh, dude, that happens to so many people.
Which one?
What Argo just said. I got in trouble when the belt stopped hurting.
Right, right. See, the first belt I got, it never hurt because he was just like, what am I even doing here? You're too goddamn big. But...
I just know a lot. I've heard that story a lot about like I pretended it hurt.
Oh, goddamn, the switch.
Yeah.
The switch. I can't believe that. But JJ, I was going to ask you because like I said, you had two tiers because you had your parents and your parents, they were working. So then your primary caretakers were your grandparents. So what was the chain of command for like discipline? Like did the grandparents report to the parents and then they levied the punishment or what?
With my grandparents, I didn't really misbehave all that much. I was still like 4, I think, was the last time. 4 was when my brother was born, and when my mom was pregnant with my brother, she stopped working. She became a stay-at-home mom.
Right.
So I didn't really misbehave a whole lot. The only thing that I got in trouble with, and like my grandparents, my grandma in particular, sat me down and like, I don't know, like tamed the wild beast within me.
Oh my God.
Was when I punched my cousin.
That's right. You told that story.
Yeah.
You cleaned their clock. So what I recall, like you put everything behind it.
I mean, granted, I was like 4.
Right.
So, but
that means you have less restraint because there's no
there's no blockers there.
Right. There's no like
I'm just permanently Rock Lee opening the door.
Yeah, no, what's the word? Empathy. There's no empathy yet. Like you haven't developed that in your brain, so you're like, punch.
Yeah, I really want to stay outside. And she's like, no, you have to stay inside. And so then I just punched her in the eye. With real bad on my part.
Yeah, with your whole 4-year-old fist.
And I just ran outside. And I played. And then when my parents, when my grandma came back, I was like, oh, well, I'm in trouble. And to this day, I honestly don't have like a solid memory of what she told me. But if I was lacking empathy, I sure as fuck obtained it then.
Your little pop-up empathy created.
But yeah, she didn't yell at me or hit me or anything like that. My dad hit me when I was little again.
Hand or weaponry?
First hand, then when that failed, belt. Belt also failed. I never cleaned my room. So my mom had to step in and be like, look, he's not going to clean his fucking room. Like, I think we have to change tacks here.
Right. We can't just keep beating him for not doing the thing. Oh, shit. I just realized. God, it sounds so lame. Cause
what? You got beat for your room?
No, they took the TV out of my room and my GameCube because my grades were slipping.
Oh, we didn't have one.
Yeah, so TV or GameCube?
No, in the room.
Oh, in the room.
We had to play in the living room, which meant we had to share TV with parents. So,
right.
Like, I really only played Saturdays and Sundays.
Well, I had a little Zenith, it's 28-inch Zenith that I
Goodbye, Cheese Man.
Goodbye, Cheese Man. Welcome to the fold. And get it like cheese folds, and that's not very good. Anyway,
I was supposed to say cheese doesn't really fold that much.
So they took the TV out, and so I was left with the radio.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Once my mom threw her heels at me, and I ducked, and they stuck on the wall.
I got in trouble. That's your buddy Argo, yeah? I met him, nice guy. But no, so I got the TV taken out, and then I was like a 1960s child listening to morning radio shows and recording things once again on tapes so I could have music because I had no entertainment for that for the rest of that quarter. But like that was our thing. It was like, that only happened one time. I'm too big to hit, so like hitting wasn't going to get very far. And so, yeah, it was all that guilt stuff. And I also just was a little chicken shit scared boy that didn't want to get in trouble until a little bit later where I would start like watching TV shows I wasn't allowed to. I guess the only other time I really got in trouble or I kind of got yelled at was I was doing some pervy. Do you remember Wild on Wednesday?
Yeah.
On cable? Yeah, so essentially...
Brooke.
Huh?
With Brooke Burke, right?
I don't remember that part, but I remember. I think it was like on A and
just
E.
remember
It was on
ad-
E.
I was about to say, I
Entertainment.
just remember ads. I don't remember like a full-on show on A&E.
No, it's something I can
just-
find it.
It was just E.
Yeah.
And so it was
Playing
like
during
E
the Howard Stern show? After the Howard Stern show?
Yeah, actually, I think it was like right before.
Because I just remember people would be like, "Oh, Howard Stern," and it's like it's so pervy, and it's just like he just has people on and talks. It was the Joe
Right.
Rogan podcast before the Joe Rogan
Right,
podcast.
right. And so, but this show, if I recall correctly,
Baba Booey.
had lots of like TNA, but the girls with big boobs. But more importantly, if they were wearing mesh, they wouldn't censor it. So it was like their ultimate cheat code to show pretty much softcore porn on cable television after midnight or whatever. And I was watching it, and I usually would just turn my TV off or whatever, and I'd be fine, you know, before 10:30, 11. My dad would only come until he slept, which was after like 1 o'clock or something. But I fell asleep. You say Wild on Wednesday? I don't know you. I know Girls Gone Wild. It was a different thing, and I can't find it on Google because it's too generic. I fell a fucking sleep, and I woke up and the TV was off, and I was like, yeah, it's gonna be a great day in middle school or high school, whatever the fuck. And I wake up my dad, and then because I wake up my dad every morning, I'm eating breakfast and I'm ready for school, and I think it was just me or something. I don't know, but he cornered me, and he was like, I saw you were watching that nasty stuff on TV. You're not supposed to be watching that. And I was like, oh, fuck, I'm in trouble. And then, like, a month or 3 months later, it was random as shit. Something else happened where something on TV was getting a little spicy, you know, some movie or whatever that was on cable. And then my dad's like, go to your room. And don't watch it in there. Like, he yelled halfway down the hall. I'm like, what the fuck? I wasn't, Dad. So, I don't know. Is that fear of God that I have? Let's see. Oh, bro, always set the remote to last on cartoons just in case the parents come in. Oh, I know the last technique. Oh, I know all the techniques. I know. Let's see. What's another?
Gary! I was just looking for the sports channel.
Exactly. No, it was Last. Last was always on Nick at Night, Cosby Show, which I don't know if is better anymore. But yeah, like I think that's actually worse. But yeah,
And I had another technique, which is called I had basic cable, so I didn't have the ability to watch any of this.
Oh, well, see, I had basic cable. And then you had just the satellite TV.
I don't know what the right words are, but I had...
You had the 10 channels.
I had
CBS, ABC.
6 channels, and then I had 70 channels, and that's it.
Yeah, that's basic cable. Yeah.
I mean-
you had Cartoon Network, or you should have.
I had Cartoon Network, but I didn't have the Disney Channel until I was like 15.
That's because it wasn't a part of basic cable till about then.
Yeah.
Disney Channel was added later,
It
so
was a premium.
right. It was like HBO status. But what we didn't
Oh, man,
have,
I got... sorry, just to derail the conversation a little bit. I got Comedy Central right at the right bit at 14 and was like, all right.
perfect. Time to build a personality, baby. Let's do this. No, but I didn't have cable either. I didn't get caught for this. I did get caught for another thing though. You could watch scramble porn if you went to channel, I think it was like 83 or 84, and you would get Skinamax. And so it'd be softcore porno, but it'd be all scrambled up and like staticky, and the colors would be all warped and shit because it was still analog TV. And if like the scene was all white, you could see it super clear. And even though it was like greenish or whatever, but you could see it. And I would just be there with my lass, just like, just try to avoid it. But then when the internet age came, when we had DSL, I was able to get like Pamela Anderson downloads and Lindsay Lohan boobs, and my sister caught. Yeah, no, that was when Lindsay Lohan was hot, and then my sister
No, it
caught
wasn't
me
that.
with
I
that.
was like, I don't remember Lindsay Lohan ever having like a real nude. That goes into probably TMI, but yeah.
She had nip slips. That was
That's
a big.
what-
That was a classic thing for young Sam. Was to look up which celebrity had that.
I
which,
actually
Sam,
never-
you fucking pervert. Anyway,
I was about to say, I actually never got I never looked at porn on the family computer.
Right. Dude, like Argo did when the PSP came out, it was game over. You had a browser. You had a browser on the PSP, and you could just look at whatever you wanted, baby. Once Wi-Fi was invented.
It was funny though because my friend Gabriel, whose house we were at, did put Command and Conquer on my family computer. And now whenever it was slow or anything, it'd be like, it's that goddamn video game's fault. And I was like, bro, it's just software.
Oh, dude, okay. You just reminded me. Okay, one more thing. JJ, you'll get a kick out of this. We got a brand new HP computer, baby. A brand new HP computer. Fresh out the box at Best Buy.
Our HP computer came from a Black Friday sale at 4 a.m.
Well, here's the thing. Oh my God, it says it. It was this one. I gotta find a clear image of it. Please, Google, why are you being so slow? Anyway.
What up, Maximus?
I had the CD. Maximus is here. Why can't I find a high-res image? And I had the CD, and it was a music CD, but it had a very cool feature. And that feature was on the disc. It had a secret music video of the titular song. I need to find a high-res so you could see it. Why the fuck is this not working? And so I was like, okay, let me go ahead.
You're trying to look up something from 2011.
No, this is from 2011.
Yeah.
No, 2001. 2003? Something like that. There we
You
are.
might as well look up what the original Kazaa logo
No, I
looks
found it. No, I found it. It was fine. It's very easy. And so I go, man, I get to finally watch the music video that the CD contains. So I go into it, and this was before you could download QuickTime off the internet. You had to download it off the CD, which it came on, because they assumed the internet wasn't fast enough to download QuickTime. And so I was like, okay, come on. Oh shit, let me go ahead and play this, download QuickTime. Fuck yeah, I'm gonna do this. Let's do this, Pokemon Master.
I got to be the one, the only one who can withstand the test and be the best. Got to
Goddamn Pokemon to be a master. Music from the hit TV series. None of those songs were in there. None of those songs were on the hit. It was music inspired by the hit TV series, but none of those songs were fucking in there. But I was like,
The Poker Rap is in there.
Poker Rap is in there, yeah, but not the other 10 brand new songs. So I was like, give me the fucking music video. And so that afternoon, my dad sees this little icon,
Yeah.
and he's like, what the fuck is that? Brand new computer, mind you, in 2002 or 1. It's QuickTime. I used it to play the Pokemon. Don't you download things without me? Like, he went, like, not ballistic, but he got furious about this shit. I'm just like, what are you talking? I needed it to play the Pokemon to be a master Poke Rap music video. What are you mad about? I didn't cause a virus. He's like, you're gonna download a virus. And that then started my streak of being so scared of the internet and getting viruses. Remember I told you I have a fear of like analog horror, pixel stuff? It's from getting internet viruses. That just general fear of getting internet viruses and then getting in trouble for getting an internet virus that you can't undo, getting your identity stolen, and then having your life ruined.
Yeah, bro, I still don't understand installing shit. Like, I remember when he put in Command and Conquer, it was like, first this little gray dialogue pops up, then you got to name the file. Yeah, yep. Well, whatever. The 3 things happen, and then the game works, but still, it's a mystery to me, kind of thing. So whenever something breaks at work, I'm like, oh.
I don't know. I don't know. Who nuked their family PC with LimeWire? Never did LimeWire because I was too scared. Because I knew it would. I would be
did all of them.
Well, that's the thing. I would have got all the viruses. I would have ruined my dad's computer, and I would have
ruined
been punched.
Alfred's computer. I asked Alfred to burn things for me.
See, that was my friend Penguin. My friend Tim in high school would download ROMs for games for my PSP, which he hacked. He what's the word? Homebrewed. He homebrewed the thing for my PSP to play like PlayStation games. It was sick as fuck. But there's one more thing. I remember that I'll pass it again to like what else he got in trouble for. This was the one thing my dad would.
I mean, it's kind of funny to look at it now. Like, I didn't get in trouble for things that were probably actually wrong. I just got in trouble for things they didn't understand.
What do you mean?
Like, I'm telling you, like, they didn't really understand computers. So when I got a computer and everything acts up, it's like, oh, it's this goddamn video game.
Yeah.
You had misplaced in troubleness.
Well, I mean, I did do bad things, but that's not what I'm going to talk about.
But that's not the thing that you got caught for.
Yeah,
you did that in the Shroud of Darkness.
But it's like, I mean, what's another thing? I mean, me first being into rap music in like 7th or 8th grade, they were like, "Oh, we don't understand this craze," and I was just kind of like, I don't know. I watched TRL and I thought it was funny. Like, that was it.
TRL, that's right. That was your music intro was TRL. I forget that. You have all this great musical taste, and you're just like, yeah, TRL got me into everything.
Well, I mean, music videos in 1999 completely different from music videos now.
That's fair. That is absolutely fair. But the last thing I remember really getting in trouble for, because once again, good kid. One was very hilarious, but I just got looking at, which was, went to Disneyland, got a Qui-Gon Jinn lightsaber, and it was expensive. It was like $50 or something like that. He goes, if I see this on the ground, that's all he said. He gave it to me, and I got it, played with it. We get home, literally the next day, it's at the foot of my bed, like where you open the door, you could see it right there, and my dad just looks, and I see it, and I go, oh, and I like sprint to it, and I dive, and I pick it up, I go, I'm sorry. Nothing happened. But this one, my dad is not a violent guy, at least in my era. Get too many kids.
I was about to say.
At least in my era, you know. But this is where I saw a little bit of the beast, and it was his rule that I've learned and have since learned that you do not argue about food in front of my dad. My dad grew up on a farm, cows, goats, lambs, shit like that. And, not the richest person in the world growing up. So, they had to kill their own animals and they got food and they got fed and all that stuff. So being able to provide was a big pride point for my dad. And he was good at it. We never went hungry, clearly. Never went hungry, right? Mm-hmm. But then I had me and my sister waking up in the morning and then my brother was there at the old house. Yeah. So I was under the age of 10 and we had Pop-Tarts, and we had the strawberry Pop-Tarts, and then we had this newfangled invention, JJ, called the s'mores Pop-Tart. It was when they were first invented, and I know my sister...
I was about to say, those are so common. They give you them in the Army.
Right. But they were recently invented, at least to my knowledge, or rather, you know how like Mexican parents sometimes just won't buy a brand because they never did, and they just refuse to? It's one of those things where it's like, we only get strawberry frosted goddamn Pop-Tarts. That's it. Dad, what about the blueberry? Fuck no, we're getting it. But we ventured with the frosted s'mores. And I said, great, let's do this. But I knew that there was one more, and I hadn't had one yet because my sister loves chocolate, and I don't mind strawberry. So I grabbed the chocolate s'more, and I put it in the strawberry box, and I left that box empty. So my sister, she goes and she reaches for the s'mores box, and she sees it's empty, and I see her do it, and because I'm a little shit, I run to the strawberry, and I pull out the s'mores one. I go, ha-ha, I got the last one. No, you gotta do that. So she starts yelling. I go, no, I got the last one. We gotta yell. Da-da-da. We're just yelling. We're just yelling at like 7 in the morning, and I wake up my dad at 7:30, but we're yelling at 7 in the goddamn morning. And my dad wakes up, and he goes, what the hell is going on in here? And he goes, what is going on? And he's like, Sam ate the strawberry, the s'mores Pop-Tart, he ate it. And then I had already cooked the s'mores on the plate, on the cutting board. And he goes, wait, you're arguing about Pop-Tarts? You're arguing about food? He grabs the plate and he goes, slam. He just dropped it, slammed it all on the ground. And he goes, pick it up. And he goes back to bed for another 20 minutes. And then I have to meekly go wake him up to start his day. He never broke anything. He never got mad like that.
That's like a scene from La Bamba, but like El Lope has the sentence that La comida no se pelea. We don't fight over food.
Right. And he broke the plate. So it was on the plate, the Pop-Tarts on the plate. He went, Oppa! like, smack.
Hella Greek.
And then he just goes, but that was just he just goes, pick it up. You didn't say it to anybody. He just said it to all of us. My brother was like, what the fuck? My brother walked in shortly after. He was like, what the fuck was that about? And me and my sister picked up.
There's just like, any more s'mores Pop-Tarts?
Right, yeah. He was completely unawares, which is funny because, I feel like he got a lot of the brunt of the yelling because he's the oldest boy and so had to lead by example. So he was just like, what the fuck happened here? And so, I I have strawberry Pop-Tarts in my house now. Fuck a frosted s'more. Too much trauma there. But like really, like I said, good kid. Tried not to get in trouble.
I don't fuck with Pop-Tarts too much just because of like calorie count and shit like that. But somebody on deployment sent us fudge sundae Pop-Tarts. And I was
That's
like,
a real thing?
Yeah. And I was like, these are amazing. And I haven't had them since deployment, but it was just kind of like, I remember biting into it and I was like, this is the right amount of chocolate and cream.
Oh, frosted hot fudge sundae. I got it. I mean, we're kind of sidetracking on this one before we get to the next part of our show. But are there any foods that bring you back to war by accident? Where you're like, you get like either a chill or you're
Otis
like, whoa.
Otis Spunkmeyer muffins for sure.
Otis Smokemeyer muffins?
Spunkmeyer.
Yeah.
Otis Spunk? What the fuck is Otis?
You can buy those at
Spunkmeyer?
the gas station, but it's just like they have them everywhere.
Really?
Like I don't know what it is with the USO, but they just sent them everywhere.
Oh, these are the ones I never buy.
Yeah, it's the blueberry ones.
The blueberry. Oh, so like if you eat one of these, do you get like a little worried?
Yeah.
That to me is kind of funny. I know it's not cool, but it's just like you're eating a muffin and you're just like, am I in war?
Well, that's why I don't eat them. The good thing is they're actually outside of gas stations hard to find. No one puts them anywhere.
They're just not there. Gotcha.
Yes, 100% Mopi Corbin. We eat it raw. There's no toaster out there.
Yeah, you have to get real excited to be like, all right, here's some foil I found. Here's a propeller blade. Let's toast this with the Afghani sun. But
I'm pretty sure they have access to fire. Wouldn't it be just easier to...
They have everything
No.
there. They literally can't make bombs without cell phones. They have everything. They don't have a lot of everything. They just have a little of everything.
Okay, even further sidebar, because we had this conversation a long time ago, because Afghanistan was lost, and the first thing they did was ride go-karts and celebrate, and then they all got pissed off because they had to get real jobs.
Yeah.
Are they still pissed off that they have real jobs?
Yeah, they're incredibly bored. We were at war. The United States was at war in Afghanistan for 20 years. So basically, there's some 16-year-old that is now 36, and he's like, I don't want to fucking file paper.
I want to do war. Well, that's the thing. I guess, like do you know, like, where your parents got their form of raising you? Because, like, my dad had to unlearn a lot of shit to get to where he was, to where throwing plates was, like, the coolest thing. Like, that was the most angriest he got was to break a plate. Versus his dad, who was crazy, versus his dad, who was even crazier.
I was about to say, like, I've heard stories about, like, my grandparents and kind of stuff, and it's just kind of like, it was just, like, their way or the highway kind of thing. Like,
Which, that seems like a trend for the older gens.
But, I mean, it was literally like they were migrant workers. Like,
Right.
You are going to work in some form, or I'm going to beat you until you work kind of thing.
Fair.
Like, it wasn't exactly, there was no other options. There's nowhere to run away to, nothing like that. The issue that my parents faced that would have been completely alien even for my grandparents is just that I was just like a wanderer for the most part. Like, my parents have stories about me at 3 or 4 years old that it's just like, we were like, we don't know where the fuck he went. Where'd he go?
Just fucked off.
He just fucked off. And then I was 3 or 4 blocks away. Like,
Shit.
in
No.
just some random. I mean, the thing about my Eagle Pass and the neighborhood is everyone knew everybody.
Right.
So it would just be like, oh, like, I don't know exactly who this is, but I know it's Theo Carmen's cousin or some
Right,
shit
right.
like that.
I know somebody who knows that kid.
Yeah. And then it would just be like, I would just be there having a conversation with them or petting a random dog or doing all this random shit.
So you're borderline feral.
Yeah.
That's what you're telling me. You're like,
This is a common thing in Eagle Pass.
were you also feral? Yeah. You were like, I will punch my way to what I want.
There is a literal burn mark on my back from a backpack
That's right.
that, like, it was a plastic, like, you know, I don't know, fucking Sonic the Hedgehog or something backpack.
Right.
That I just was like, I'm gonna go to Doña Anita's house. And I just, like, shirtless was like, I'm gonna put on this backpack, take me my snacks.
I just hear the
and some
Pokemon
toys.
theme. She's just bouncing. This is just a whole bunch of kids. Your fucking grade school elementary is just these kids right here
Well,
with
like-
silver teeth.
I remember I didn't get in trouble with this because my parents were just like, we don't want to deal with the amount of shit he should be in trouble with. But like they signed me up for some after school program because it was just like my mom worked till 6. So
Right.
It was just like we'll pick him up at 6 kind
That's
of
what
thing.
half of the after school programs are for.
Yeah, well, I didn't go. I went I went and played in the monte is what we called it. Like I just fucking like oh, there's these cool sides of the hill, and it's like I'm hiking and stuff.
Playing in dirt.
Yeah.
You're playing dirt. I mean, I know what you're talking about, but
Well,
yeah.
the thing
You
that
shot a
my
video
mom-
there where you guys shot kung fu.
No, well, it was wilder there. There was literally bushes and caves and stuff like that. But the thing that my mom was worried about way later, that she was like, I don't want to confront this, is that like because of people crossing illegally, like I could have literally gotten in some sort of
You could have gotten absconded away.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, that reminds me of my friend who almost got kidnapped by, and people don't like this term, but it's just hilarious in the old-timey millennial sense. She almost got kidnapped by gypsies.
Yeah, I'm sure.
She was from, damn it, where is she from? Fuck, one of those places. And yeah, she was just hanging out in the front yard, and then these ladies, I guess the Romani, came, and they were like, yeah, we'll take this baby. And she was not wearing any clothes, European, so just a little kid, 2-3-year-old, just having fun. And then this lady was like in the town square, like, hey, that's not your baby, and then kidnapped her back and then took her to her mom. So it's like, that could have happened to you. You could have you could have actually had a cool origin story. You would have been a great cartel enforcer had they known you'd get as big as you are.
Well, I don't think that that's what they do with children, unfortunately.
Oh,
or
well.
Fortunately. I don't know how you want to see it. But,
Some degree of fortune,
They're mostly spotters.
Oh.
but no, it was just in general because it was such a small neighborhood. Like I remember my grandpa would literally walk me from their house to Mexico and would just talk to people everywhere along the way, kind of thing. My first friend was just literally someone that lived across the street, and it's one of my first memories of just being like, oh, that boy's my age, and my grandma being like, well, all this is in Spanish, by the way. Like, oh, go talk to him. Like, go, and then
That
we're still
explains a
friends
lot
to
about
this
you.
day.
That explains a lot about Marcos, though. Friend, you're my age. Let's go.
Shit.
But it was just, there's so much about how I am compared to what my parents are that it was just like, oh, like completely different interests, completely like,
Yeah.
like even when it comes to basics of like, oh man, you got a B in math, and it's like, cool, tell me what I'm doing wrong, and they'd be like, yeah, no, you're doing fine.
Right. but okay, so let's. But I want to
My
flip
dad
it.
was a dropout. So.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I want to flip it one more. What do you think their parents did? Did they even get schooling? Like, cause
So when you were saying the whole my way or the highway thing,
Right.
I think my grandparents might have been the exception because one of my aunts, or I think it actually might have been my grandma, and then one of my aunts added onto it. But my grandma told me that when my dad was high school age, I think, yeah, it gets weird because in Mexico, I don't think they have middle schools. It's just like
right.
primary, secondary.
Yeah.
So when my dad was in secundaria, he dropped out, and he told my grandma, like, you know what, school ain't for me. I can't focus on it. It's not what I don't see myself doing an office job anyway.
Right.
And so he told my grandma that he was dropping out, and my grandma was like, all right, if you can make money doing like whatever in the fuck,
Right. I guess so.
then go for it. That was my grandma's parenting style. And then my aunt added onto it. He's like, yeah, and he went on to become a pool hustler.
Why not? Why not? Bring me Lucille.
The only thing that I will say when you take a step back is that out of all the relatives that I probably relate to much, it's my godmother, my tia Maria, which I guess also kind of makes sense why our names are also the same line. But she was a pretty wild child too. I do know that like she's the one. She got married pretty early and then was just like, I don't like these family expectations, and divorced she was the first one to ever get divorced kind of thing. No one talks about it either. Right. It was just kind of like, yeah, you have your cousin David Garcia, and then your Tia Maria's last name is Casabum, and it was just kind of like, oh, no one's ever told me anything.
Yeah, who that guy is.
And then at a certain point, I started asking my cousin Danny about it, and it's like, oh yeah, no, like, Tia Maria's first husband, not great. Your grandpa actually beat the shit out of him, and I was just like, oh, okay. But Tia Maria herself was just kind of like, yeah, I'm gonna go on the other side of Texas and see what's out there. Became a police officer. Has done all these other kind of things that is just kind of like, oh, that's pretty cool. And now she's retired to like a 60, 70 acre lot ranch and just smokes weed all the time.
There you go. Like, so it's like that's the only one that kind of got it, I guess, because like you said, like I said, your parents say get good grades. They may not know how to teach it to you, but like their grandparent or their parents, like your grandparents, were they like crazy strict too? Because mine,
for sure.
Mine, well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I wonder like where they got that from. That expectation of your grandparents from your great grandparents, because now we're talking about like
that's too far.
Pre-depression. No, we're talking about pre-depression, right?
Well, my grandpa himself was born like in 1916, so he grew up in the Depression.
Right. And like what that does to parents that then does to them that then does to you. Like it's not that far removed. Because like, oh, go ahead, JJ.
Well, I don't know much about my great grandparents, but I think the reason my grandma was more of a gentle hand by the time I came around. Like I haven't heard any like stories of my grandma beating my aunts or my dad.
Right.
My grandpa maybe, but I also haven't heard any stories about that. But my grandma was the oldest daughter, and she essentially had to raise all of her siblings.
Right.
So by the time she had her own kids, she was
tired.
Yeah,
she was tired, baby. Ooh.
She was tired, and she already saw kind of like what works and what doesn't in terms of parenting. Like she got kind of a head start in that one.
Right. Like, because that's my like dad. His parents were angry, strict, like kneeling on the broomstick when my dad got in trouble. Like that shit hurt. I did it just to try it. That shit hurts for a minute, let alone the 10 minutes, 20 minutes he had to do it. Well, bad G. So like my dad's dad was fair, but my way or the highway. Like just listen to me, follow the order. Also did farm work and various types of work like that, working with his hands. And then my grandma, I don't know too much about her past or her upbringing. I know one thing that influenced her that influenced my dad was her mom, my great grandmother, was a super racist. Not like a super racist against other people, against her own people.
Her mom?
Light skin, her mom. My great grandmother, Mama Maria, paleness, white skin.
You go that far back, it's not really.
She was born in 1903.
I was about to say that's like not even.
That's pretty
like
progressive.
Yeah, I was about to say like racism one thing, but it's just like you don't probably even like people not from your own city block.
How about say she might have also been classic racist, but I didn't know that. No. But the idea was she was born in 1903. She was 8 when the Titanic sunk, and this lady just loved white skin. Thought it was the best thing in the world. So when my grandmother, I believe my grandmother's the second oldest, she morena, dark skin, used to just go at her for being dark skinned, and my grandmother. Felt a lot of shame. I've learned that about her skin color because her mom was 102 years old when she passed, would still give her shit about her skin. Like barely could remember shit, was still being like ugly this and ugly that. And so that influence affected my grandmother, and how she treated some of her own kids, and her kids were light skinned, so she was fine. And the other ones and the grandkids, even me and my siblings, the lighter skinned ones got preferential treatment. And then the grandbabies, my nieces and nephews, lighter skin got preferential treatment from my grandma. And so my dad knew this, and he knew that the family operated like that. Even his other aunts and uncles, aunts more importantly, would not get the darker skinned kids gifts for Christmas. And my dad is like, well, I get I'm the boy, I'm an older boy, and I'm also kind of dark. That's fucked up. I hate that. And so my dad's law was everything's equal. Everything has to be equal. Everybody gets one. Everybody, if everyone gets one, or nobody gets one, and that's it. And like he had to fucking deconstruct that shit on his own. And I'm like, that's what we had to get to. And then you look at my mom, my grandfather, I'm trying to think of his upbringing, but like I can't remember how he was raised too much, but he was gentle. he was a musician and he did like fishing and there's a fisherman and like packed fruit and did just manual labor and he was like I said, a musician and he wasn't mean. He didn't yell. He was fucking relaxed. My grandma, she her dad ran off and then she was adopted. And so she had a fucking like fend for herself. So she was working at 13 picking cotton and she was working at a butcher's shop. And she would make the money to help her mom, who was cleaning the, as she would call it, the rich lady's houses, the white lady's house, rich white lady houses. And so, like, you have like this mellow guy who's like not machismo at all, and then you have this other lady who's like, I run shit, and I had to run shit since I was a kid because my mom and my family need to eat. And then you create a bunch of girls that were like, that's my mom's and her sisters and my one uncle on that side. They were like, oh, okay, cool. We have the freedom to do a lot of things. And then the freedom to do a lot of things then establish that into their own little ways and stuff like that. Because then some were like, well, I can run this. This is my own house. And then you get some of my aunts who are a little more like strict with my cousins. Then you get ones that weren't as strict. Then you get ones that were more religious. And then you get ones that are less religious. And then you get like my mom, who was kind of like fair but firm. But also the Catholic guilt, like that was her big thing. And so like, you know, she would tell me before I walked out, you know what's right and you know what's wrong. I raised you well. And then you're like, oh, fuck. What does that mean? I don't know. Am I right? And so like just that conversion, right, of now we'll get, well, JJ, did you have anything to add to that segment? Like of the conversion from your grandparents to your parents? Because like, both of them raised you, both sets, right? Mostly your grandparents. But, like, did your parents just pull out, like, some random shit? I was like, wait, where did you learn that from? or were they more kind in that way?
My parents were more kind. I would, like, sometimes blow my mom's mind because, like, I was with my grandma a lot. And my grandma had, like, a very old-timey way of talking that, as I came to realize. Like,
Right.
So I would use, like, some words that my grandma would say, like, the word in Spanish to wake up is despertar.
Right.
Desperté, right.
Et cetera.
But my grandma would say, ¿estás recuerdo? To ask if I'm awake.
Right.
Like, ¿estás recuerdo? Which, recuerdo typically means a memory.
Right.
So one time I told my mom, no, sí estoy recuerdo. And my mom's like, what? Did you?
Are you my mom? What is happening?
And she was like, oh, right. It's because you hang out with grandma a lot, and that's the way she talks. It's not common for, like, her generation.
Right. Well, yeah, it's like, shit, my niece, little half white, half Mexican niece, looks pale. She's blonde as shit. She'll say some old-timey phrases that my mom says in Spanish. Like, she'll be like, what did she say? Like, one time she got, like, someone farted and she goes, épale mano. Like, my mom would just say that. And my little blonde, skinny little niece was just like, épale mano. I'm like, what the we're all like, what? And then we're like, oh, yeah, she was raised by grandma, like, for good chunks of her life, you know?
In terms of, like, parenting, like
the translation fixing element.
The one thing, because like I said, my grandma was always a real gentle hand with me, even when I legitimately fucked up and deserved to get like my ass handed back to me.
Right.
She never hit me. There was only one time she like playfully hit me, and that was when I was 21.
Well, at that point, it's cute.
Yeah, and it was because I bought beer. Like I went off to the corner store. I was like, I'm old enough to drink now. I'm gonna go buy beer.
I just remembered. Yeah, go ahead.
So I went to the corner store. I bought like a 6-pack, and I went to the corner store because they carried Shiner. And I found out later because the son of the owner, like of that like little corner store, he ended up working at the casino too. Panchito. Like I met the actual Panchito.
No.
The store is named after him.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. It's like meeting Wendy.
So I found out that we only carried it because he told me, like, I was like, well, people seem to like this one. Sure, it doesn't sell all that well, but like we'll just buy a handful of it and then like we'll sell it at a discount. And even if we don't make the money back, like we give people the option. I was like, oh yeah. And I thank you for that because I kept going.
Right.
I was like, this is the only place I can get a 6-pack for $4.
Let's do this thing.
But yeah, I came back from the corner store and like I tried to sneakily like hide the beer, like
Right.
because even though I was already legal and everything,
It's still not allowed.
Right.
If that makes sense.
yeah. And then like my grandma comes out of her room and she's like, "Oh, where are you coming back from? The panchitos?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what'd you buy?" I couldn't lie to her. I was just
Chips.
I couldn't lie to her. I was like, cerveza. She's like, ¿qué dijiste? Cerveza. Te voy a pegar. And she just like playfully like
Right.
slapped me.
That's kind of funny because like my experience is like about 18, I started hosting parties. So I would host a party and then leave like for college or something, and then I'd just be like, "Here, mom," and then it'd just be an ice chest full of Budweiser Select and Smirnoff ices. And
You give it to your mom?
what was I supposed to do? I couldn't take it with me. I was,
I got you. That makes sense. Yeah.
Whenever I would take my cooler and I would steal some Smirnoffs from my mom.
That was funny that you brought that up because I realized, you know what? I didn't get in trouble a lot. I did get yelled at for random things. Like, so that was one that I want to say might have been my first Christmas. I was 21, and I've shown the picture a dozen times before of all of the kids at Christmas. In my family, we're all piled up in a big room at my grandma's house, and we're all just, all cousins, and it's just a lot of body heat and excitement and wrapping paper and all the things that are good about Christmas. And so we're doing the same old thing, and I'm 21. I'm, in college. I'm drinking now, having a good time, and I grab a Corona, and I'm just drinking a Corona, and they go, "All right, everybody, time for presents. We're going to unwrap presents." I said, "Hell yeah, let's do it." And I bring my Corona, and I'm in the back. There's actual children here. I'm getting the hell out of the way. I'm out of the way, not bothering a damn person. I put my beer down at my feet, and I'm just there, and my dad is just like, getting ready because he's the oldest man. So he's being Sancho Claus, as we called it. He's getting ready, and he's going to give the hat to his little brother, my uncle, and have a good time to give out presents. And then he sees me with the beer between my feet, and he's like, "Get that out in front of everybody. Get that out of here. What are you doing drinking a beer at Christmas?" And I'm like, "Everyone's drinking a beer at Christmas. It's a party. It's 1 o'clock or 12 or whatever, but people were drinking already." And he just called me out in front of everybody. I'm just like, "Why? I didn't even do nothing." And I just and my cousin laughed at me. He's like, "Why is your dad getting mad? Why did you do that? You act like you never drank a Christmas, Dad." And then I just went off and I finished it, and then I came back.
That's literally what Christmas posados are for.
Yeah.
Exactly. I'm stealing Sancho Claus. Yeah, we had Sancho Claus for sure. But yeah, I'm like, why am I getting yelled at for this shit?
Real quick.
Oh, spam. It's fine.
Going back to the difference in parenting, and back to the food thing. My parents would leave me home alone a lot, right? Even after.
Sorry, you're like, my parents would leave me home alone. Just imagine baby
They
JJ
would.
doing that.
And even after my mom became a stay-at-home mom, if they had an event, a wedding or something, or they just wanted to go out on a date, they would leave me home alone. I'd be like, cool.
Yeah.
I didn't care.
Right. I got TV.
On the note of you getting yelled at and then Argo being like, my stepdad would still sneak me a shot over from time to time.
Right.
Yeah, my parents were, well, not my parents, my uncles and my dad were definitely no pasa nada people.
Yeah.
Or, have a sip of this beer, no pasa nada. And then it was just, I do remember not liking it too much as a child. But I mean, my dad would drink Michelob Ultra, and I would just always be like, "This just tastes like mineral water.
Right.
It tastes like a Topo Chico." What
Right.
the?
Well, I think the biggest crime was that there was a time and place for drinking, and presents wasn't the time for drinking. But it was a very small window between drinking and presents time.
It's still something you can open.
But I was about to say, I still had a Theo though throw his arm over my neck and be like, I got you.
I'm not.
Every
Hey,
time one of my uncles comes over,
I can't.
big drinker uncle, he's always like, I actually si quieres.
I'm not going to explain it nor justify it. I don't know what the deal was. He saw it as disrespectful.
No, I get it. I get it. But no offense. I think it does have to do just with you being a baby. They're always going to see you.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
But I just remember my uncle just being like, Hey, I got you this stereo from Radio Shack. I got you this model car because I thought you would like it.
Jeez.
But back to the food thing. When my parents would leave me alone, my grandma would like watch me. Like, she would. I wasn't really alone. She would come over and like, "Are you okay?
Right.
Nothing exploded.
Right.
Nothing's on fire. Cool." But the don't ask for food when you're at someone else's house thing. That rule kind of still applied when grandma watched over me. It was like, don't ask grandma for food.
Huh.
I guess they were just worried that I would ask her for like something extravagant, and they just didn't want her. They didn't want me to be completely alone,
Right.
and her to drive.
Right. Oh, gotcha.
Don't ask grandma for food, and I kept that like promise until I was like 12, I want to say, or 11.
Right.
There was one time when like my parents were only supposed to be gone for a little bit, and it ended up being like the whole day. They were just gone.
Yeah.
And my grandma came in like every 4 hours on the hour, like, "Are you hungry? Do you want me to make you something?" "No, grandma, I'm fine."
Right.
"Are you hungry? You want me to make you something?" The last time she came in, she was like, "Look, I don't know what the fuck your parents told you. I'm not your mom, but you're still my child. I'm gonna make you food. What do you want to eat?"
Enough is too much. I hear your stomach growling.
And yeah, I just ended up eating like eggs, migas.
That's right. Yeah, I remember you saying that she made that for you. Well, here's the question, guys. Do we need a break, or do we want to just finish this up?
I can do a little break.
You need a little break? All right, well, we're going to take a quick commercial break. But yeah, we're going to talk about how we fix this. Because Marcos is a dad. I want to be a dad. And JJ is probably a dad somewhere. We don't know yet. We'll be right back. Sorry, as soon as I was ready to play, JJ was playing a voice recording from his mother, who was scolding him. No.
It's Tia Cuca.
Oh, Tia Cuca. Oh, sorry, I wasn't paying attention. I was paying attention, but I didn't get the name right because I thought
she was speaking Spanish. Then,
right? Yeah, it was in Spanish, and I just lost. So that's how I'm gonna.
There was no subtitles in real life.
Well, that's what I was trying to.
She's
fix.
just checking in on me because your boy don't have a job.
Oh, are we admitting things now?
I don't care.
Hashtag hire JJ.
At this point, I'm already like past the
Shock, sadness.
The shock, sadness, and also like I was still technically employed until the 30th. Like I've been without a job for a minute.
Did you have to sign an NDA?
Probably. So I'm not gonna say too much.
Double check because I want to know the sweet deets. We need that for sweet content.
I don't know if there is sweet deets, and I know everything about it.
What do you want?
Oh, I want to put it in the thumbnail and be like, former employee tells it all. And it was like, yeah, the Portuguese people didn't speak.
I'm pretty sure I can...
didn't speak Portuguese that well.
No, they spoke it very well. But I'm pretty sure I can reveal like where I worked.
Well, don't do it. Patreon. Do it on Patreon. Anyway, so the first thing, guys, I aspire to be a dad, a parent one day. I have a beautiful lady who is very smart and kind and wonderful and patient with me, and I am learning to be patient. I'm trying to figure things out. Shut your mouth. I am trying to be patient, and I'm not saying anything, but shut your mouth again. And no. So the idea is that, like, I am in that prime spot where, like, we're not married or anything, but, like, I see it on the horizon. So now I have a reflection of, how was I raised? And we talked about that. Like, how was I raised? I was getting yelled at for random reasons. I got yelled at for Pop-Tarts. I got Catholic guilted into most things. And so it's like, okay.
I do see that Pop-Tart fight not happening because there's no way you're going to have 3 kids. Two at most.
Yeah.
2 at most, but there's no way you have 3.
Right. Like, I joke with her, and I'm like, so when we get our 5 kids to till the plow or plow the till, I don't know. I don't work on a farm anymore, but that's the only reason why you need 5 kids in the first place. I never worked on a farm. But the idea being that, like, yeah, millennials don't have that many kids, so I might have 1. If I'm extra sexy, I might have 2, and you don't know what you're gonna get. And I'm already trying to navigate, like, oh shit. if I get 2 girls or 2 boys, I'm like over here like patriarchy because of course I want a boy.
Definition of putting the cart in front of the horses, kind of thing.
That's what I'm saying. Oh no, well I mean, never mind. Not the sexcellence, not the sexcellence. Anyway,
that's not what I meant either. I'm just
that's what I meant. I saw whatever cart you were horsing, and I said.
No, but I'm just like, you haven't had one, and you're already like, but what if it's boy-girl or girl-boy?
That's what I want. No, I always cart before the horse, Marcos. That's like my whole thing. But like, that's the thing. That's what I'm doing, and I'm in that spot where I'm like, I feel comfortable having these conversations. I feel comfortable having these things, and so I'm like in this. I'm in the perfect spot for this segment, which is the imaginary world of like, okay. This is what I want to be because it's I in my dream I'm within 5 years of having a kid, which is fucking bananas, but not out of the ordinary. I got a decent job. I got a person that loves me. It's fucking cool, and we got some stability there. The idea is I have my ideas of what I want to change. Marcos, you are an actual dad. Mm-hmm. You're in the trenches already. You've got your. How can I put it without putting your business out there? You have your family unit and how that operates.
Yeah.
And then JJ, you're a bachelor, but you do have dreams of one day being a father. Or once again, as I assume, you are a father somewhere.
You put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
JJ, you stop laying your seed everywhere.
It's right there.
It's by my toes. So like I kind of want to get your idea. My toes.
I like feet. I do not know why.
Are you? That's not how you get girls pregnant, though. You can't bust on feet. Anyway, so I don't know, Marcos. I'm gonna start.
Attitude,
That's never happened in your life, or in anybody's life. It's never happened. I'm gonna start with you, Marcos. I have questions because like you have your relationship with your parents. And you have the way they raised you, and you have the forgiveness they gave you, you have the unjustness they gave you. When you have a kid and all of those feelings and all of that planning, like you said, cart before the horse. Well, you already have the cart and the horse. So when that happens, kid comes out. I'm sorry for the crass, but comes out. What do you do? Like, what's the first thing you think of when it comes to in relation to your upbringing and how you want to change it? Like, what was your first thing where you were like, I can't do this to this person, this kid?
Well, so I was not in the most mature position where I had a kid. It's kind of funny because I was still 20 something, like I was 25, 26, something like that. I don't really remember correlation wise. But it's just kind of one of those things where, like, for my parents, that was really late. Like, I have cousins that like got pregnant like 19,
right?
And I know that's really weird for us,
right? But that's classic. That's classic age, baby.
Yeah. And then this was the last of my Hispanic deprogramming kind of thing, where it was just kind of like, no, you don't have to do this kind of thing, and it led to the therapy hole that I've been going through in a way back then, where it's just kind of like you can do your own things at your own time. But all that does take a back step in the sense that I am raising someone kind of thing. But I am lucky in another sense where, like me, she is her own kind of wild child that is very curious, loves me.
Not your little angel that I only see good things about.
You can be an angel and be curious about everything. I actually, there was a certain point, and this is, if this was an essay question, I'm putting the answer out, and I'm going to work backwards. I tried to have like a regular, like normal, this is what you're supposed to have, family unit kind of thing, and then it was just kind of like, no, like this isn't gonna end up working for me kind of thing. And one of the biggest comparisons I ever heard was Bob's Burgers, in a way, where it's just like at the other side of the street you have the Pestos that are that normal American family,
right?
But they have all these issues that are not even ever addressed, even though they are
right.
Like the atypical family. And on the other side you have Bob, and it's just like he lets his kids go everywhere. Mm-hmm. He lets them be influenced by everyone. Like, doesn't matter what your background is, as long as you're a good person. The kids literally have one episode where they'll hang out with Mr. Fish Odor, hang out with the repairman, hang out with the trans person. Like, they do all that over
Love
the
marshmallow.
And it's just kind of one of those things where it's just like at a certain point, when we were trying to figure out the schedule for Eva, because right now it's very hard, like for me to get like a normal weekend, like I used to 5 years ago, because
she's in a split parent household, or what?
She's in a split parents household, but it's not even that. Yeah, but it's not even that as much as like she's 9, she's about to be 10, so she's basically a preteen already,
right?
And as it is right now, or even as it was 4 years ago, she's the only baby for my parents,
right?
So they want to spend time with her. She's the only baby for her mom's parents, who are divorced, so that's already 3 or 4 houses.
Right. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, shit.
She now has her own friends that she wants to do shit with. Mm-hmm. She's also, like me, very like eclectic in her interests. So she's in UIL, volleyball. Her summer calendar is literally STEM camp, theater camp. Like, it's just nonstop. Scuba diving camp and all this other shit.
And is that a conscious decision that because you can now do that for her, that you let her do all those things? Or was that something that you wanted when you were a kid? It was to have your indulgent mind be fed that way?
So the thing about me that my parents actually were really supportive of, it's just that we lived in Eagle Pass. So it's like, oh, I like martial arts, or I liked like we've gone over. I love the movie Bloodsport.
Right.
Yeah. Well, Bloodsport in Eagle Pass is like, well, I guess you can go take Taekwondo downtown. Yeah.
Right.
But that was it. Like,
right.
There was no MMA. There was no. The only boxing was Mr. Mayan. But even then, I was like, I don't want to go to the Boys and Girls Club. So I took
right.
I took Taekwondo, and I did it for a year, and then I was just kind of like, I don't really feel.
I can't rip a guy's heart out here. It's just kicking.
Well, the funny thing is I didn't know that then. I just was like, there's something about this just doesn't seem very official.
It's just kicking.
Well, it's not even. It's just kicking. It's sport. It's just sport kicking. And I mean, now that we have the UFC, it's just like karate makes it, jiu-jitsu makes it. Like, Taekwondo is not on that list.
Are you talking about a spinning back heel kick doesn't work? Come on.
So I was like, okay, just something about it didn't click, and it's access. Now, if Eva wanted to get into martial arts, I'm sure there's actually a kids MMA gym like a block away.
Well, it's not a block away, but the one that Paco used to go to when he lived here had like a kids class immediately before his class.
But Eva, for the most part, she is getting into volleyball because she just has natural ability to it. I'm big. And her mom is big is the best way I can put it. I don't mean big like fat. Her mom is 5'10". Yeah. So she has just natural ability for volleyball, and she's having fun with it. But her heart is in art.
Mm-hmm. Damn. Goddamn you.
And that's not bad, but it's just kind of one of those things where it's just like, well, I can't draw a straight line today, so I can't help you. All I can do is like, I keep getting her art stuff, and I support her, and I do all these other things. I put her in places where she can learn more things. I've gotten her music lessons. I can't play either. Like, It's just kind of one of those things. The only thing that's weird between me and Eva is that I am not on that mindset where I can help her with those things. But I do support her.
That's a weird spot that your parents also are in, I'm sure, with a lot of things.
But I mean,
that's weird though, right?
But going back to Bob's Burgers, though, like, that's Bob's position on, I don't understand, Eugene. But
I'm gonna make this with a keyboard.
Oh my god!
But it is kind of like and it's weird because one of the things that I've always aged with in my mind is when I was like 6, I started watching The Simpsons, and I was about Bart's age. Now I'm about Homer's age, and I don't really relate to Homer anymore because he's become a full.
He chokes the shit out of his son.
Well, that, and he's become a full-on cartoon character. But I do relate to Bob a lot, where he's just kind of like, well, I'm trying.
Right. But like, I guess that's kind of funny because you like.
Dear God, I hope I'm not Lynn in this analogy.
I do want to ask a tough question. Were your parents as open as you're trying to be with all these things? Like, because you said, like, they didn't understand it, but did they support it like you support her? Because that seems like a direct thing where because you just listed off all the things she has access and ability to.
Yeah.
And you're very proud of that. And I'm happy that she's able to have that. I'm happy you're able to provide that for her. At the same time, though, it's like, did you get that? Is that why you're so keen to having that be one of the emphasis points? I mean, I'll get to my shit. Don't worry.
No, it's not. It's not like what's it called. It's weird because parenting is always kind of in my brain. I know it's something that you're supposed to take very serious, but it is very like every page is a blank slate kind of thing, where it's just kind of like
that is some hippie shit, Mark.
I know, but it's also kind of like. You try your best every day, but it's not the same as yesterday. And everything is just kind of a guessing game where, I mean, I'm doing my best. I know that I gave up spanking very, 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 very early, like 2 years old.
This doesn't work.
Well, it's just kind of one of those things where, I mean, I read a couple parenting books and then I dealt with conflict both ways. It sucks not to do spanking. I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Because spanking is... Okay, cool. I'm getting what I want now. But you're not teaching your child how to deal with the emotions, how to negotiate, and how to use their words. So I cut it out, but I did understand very quickly. It was like, oh,
but I want you to listen.
I do
miss easy mode.
I do understand why it's just like, Dad, why can't I have this? And then it's just kind of like, well, every parent, even the ones that beat their kids, are like, well, we just don't have money. We don't have money right now, or you already got something yesterday. You can't, like I've seen enough of those. I've been the kid, and where it's just kind of like, it's you go through the motions, and at a certain point, it's just kind of like, fuck it. It's just like, but. It's harder to go the other way of just kind of like, no, this is the trenches. You're going to work
fight it out. Because so I have, like I said, I'm in theory world.
Bob's Burger is very, very.
No, sorry, Moby Corbin Nerf gun. No Nerf gun.
We have several now.
I gave them a whole cache of them. Don't Nerf gun your children.
Bob's Burgers is very hippy dippy kind of thing. But I did see an episode for the first time yesterday where they're like, hey, we're gonna do chores again. That's the whole like thing of the episode, and then it's just the mom feels that she needs to do chores because her mom gave them a chores to do.
Yeah.
And it's just like Linda says something along the lines of like, "I heard your grandma sigh." Because she's like, so are the kids doing chores? Mm-hmm. No, not at this. And then she's just like, all right, fine. Like I'm gonna teach my kids the way, and it's that kind of motherly guilt kind of thing. And sometimes I do feel weird because Eva doesn't do chores like on a normal basis.
I never did chores. That was something that was my mom's choice, and my mom won that fight. Because that was something that my dad harped on me one time when I was like in my preteen years, maybe. Mm-hmm. That like you boys never had to do chores.
Right.
It was like when I was growing up, like we always had to do chores, and then we had to go work the fields afterwards.
Right. Yeah. No.
Blah blah blah. And so I think he thought that I was lacking discipline or lacking like initiative or something. But I'm like, Dad, like I quit the best paying job I had at the casino because it sucked, and it wasn't because I was lazy. It was because I would come home and sleep all day, and then wake up and go right the fuck back to work.
Right. And I didn't even think of that. Because, like, we did chores. The thing was that the house had to be clean before my mom got there.
In Bob's Burgers, it does end up being this negotiation where Louise actually opens up and she's like, I'm sorry that things cartoon escalated to this point, but I just felt pushed around because they threw away my toy today at school kind of thing, and I was tired of being bossed around. And they had like a coming to like, but that's how it really does work, that it's just kind of like you emotionally open up, they emotionally up, and there's compromise. So honestly, I grab the broom and do stuff around the house, and Eva's like, can I help? Like, she just wants to be involved kind of thing. And that's kind of where I fall on with a lot of these things, where it's just like, it's important to just be a good example.
See, because like, when you said like, oh yeah, we did chores. My mom went to work, and so when we were during the summer, the countertops had to be wiped, dishes cleaned, floor swept.
Yeah.
And then the house picked up, right? No trash, no nothing. So I'm just like, okay, cool. Got that. I don't even know how to instill that into a child. Like, cause we just did it cause we do as you're told, right?
Yeah.
We were good listeners, and I don't know if that was through coercion or anger or guilt. How I was able to be that, because I'm still a rule follower. I'm still a goody two shoes for the most part. I have my rebellious streaks, but even then, not nothing compared to some of the things I've heard you do. So like conceptually, when you're talking about like what were the things you want to adjust, like one of the ones I'm working on right now is anger, because my nephew, 14, he was on the show. You saw him when he was little. He was playing, was it flag football? He was trying to get into football. He was playing flag football, and I was trying to teach him. And he wasn't listening because he doesn't love football. He barely understands it. He likes watching it, but like doesn't have that type of dog in him. Neither did I, but I had a little more dog than even he had, because he likes basketball. Basketball is his sport, and that's where his. And actually, that's not who he is. He's not an aggressive person. He does not have that killer instinct of like you have to be the aggressor.
On that note, just something that like. Because it was funny meeting him. I was like, oh, I connect with this kid more than Sam does.
Right, right.
But it was kind of like you're less aggressive in jiu-jitsu than you are in football, because it takes a lot more
control.
It takes a lot more ganas
right.
to slam into someone versus just being like, oh, this is a puzzle.
Flip. Yeah. Right. He said, why are you disrespecting me? I'm not disrespecting you. I'm disrespecting myself. No, because the idea was that he would do things and I'd want to correct it, and I'd get mad, and I'd be like, hey, no, do this, get down, blah, blah, blah. And he don't remember this because this was pre-memory, or almost too young a memory.
Yeah.
I thought we were we are, but the idea is that like I would find myself getting mad. Another one, we were playing Apex Legends. He was like 12 when COVID started, and he had never played a first-person shooter. Spoiler alert: I had never played a first-person shooter until Apex Legends in 2020. And so like I had learned how to play the game, and he's barely learning. And I'm like, you need to flank, you need to go to and I would find myself just getting so mad at him for not knowing how to play a game he'd never played before. And first console, he had never had a console like that, like other than like a NES or Super NES that he thought. And I'm over here yelling at him like a grown man. And I'm like, what the fuck am I? And I felt so bad, and I started working on that. I started really trying to get better at controlling my snippiness and my anger. And I've tried really, really hard on that part. And so, like, that's the one thing that in my potential future with a kid, that's what I want to fix. I don't want to.
Kids are going to test you. Like,
well, but that's the thing. I try to
vampires about it, honestly.
And that's what I laugh.
Sometimes I would do shit on purpose because I knew it would piss my dad off.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Because I knew better than to do that. There was one time
my mom encouraged it.
Well, I almost scared my dad. On Halloween, I jumped up behind him, and he almost punched me in the face, and he goes, don't ever do that. And that was the end of it. No more pranks. And even me and my girlfriend, we've agreed, we're not doing pranks like the YouTubers or whatever, like YouTube families. Yeah. They love doing pranks. And we don't want to do that. But like you said, I know there's some probably parents or maybe people who have young kids that are laughing, that are like, oh, that kid is going to love pranks so much now because you put that energy that you don't want it, And I wonder, how am I going to be able to balance the things that I want to achieve versus who they are? So
it's really tough in general. I do have a funny story on this note, and it came from Martin after you left.
But before that, real quick, bruh's been a fan since Double Toast. They always said you had a channel. I finally found it. Good to see you, Jack Director. Welcome back. Thank you for watching. Go ahead.
So this comes from Martin. Martin from Double Toasted.
Martin, he's been on the show. Cat Daddy.
Yeah, he had a really funny story about what it was like being a parent, and because his daughters are all
they're all college age now.
Well, I don't know what you call a 19-year-old, but
they're all college age. Yeah, that's what I'd say.
And Martin's father passed away recently.
Right.
And Martin just was trying to do like something that's very basic, like, I don't know, respect-wise kind of thing, where it's just like, hey, my father passed away. They're all getting ready. Can you please not wear tennis shoes to the funeral.
Yeah.
And his daughter like lashed out at him a little bit, like just sentence wise, like
Yeah.
not anything. But she was like, "You're just so macho, Dad." And then Martin was actually so confused by the statement. He's like, "I've been picked on my entire life for liking comic books and being
right. Yeah, like, you know, like he dresses nicely. Like that's his thing, is dressing nicely. And I've heard stories about. Well, depends on which dad, because I don't know if it's his original dad or a stepdad.
I didn't know.
But I've heard stories of either one of the dads. They weren't the nicest people all the time. Most dads of that era weren't. You know, I'm not. You know, my grandfather. His dad, not the nicest people. You can say that for most pre-1920s dads, 1930s, 40s dads even. But like, so like for them to say that, and I know like they're, like I said, college age, kind of hippy dippy. One of them's in film school, you know, and they're brilliant. They're really good at what they do. But the fact that, you know, these Gen Zs are like, Dad, you're so macho, and it's fucking comic book boy Martin. Being macho, and that's the thing.
Well,
I don't know what I can do, what preparation I can have, and that's what I fear.
Well, Johnny had this funny comment.
Johnny Neal, giant army friend, older man.
He was at the table, and he was just like, "If they're calling you macho, I just want to know what their definition of a wimp is." Like that's.
That's fucking hilarious. God dang Johnny. Classic Johnny Neal. I need to have him on. We need to get him on. Like just him on.
Yeah.
But like, is that what?
But it's just kind of one of those things where it's just like you're not always going to be ready for the next culture, kind of.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Am I?
My dad sure as fuck wasn't ready for me.
Right. Right. Because that's a wild thing to say to your father. That is Dad's funeral. Dad, you're so macho. Put some shoes on. Put some damn shoes on. God damn it. Because that's something that I understand, because that's what my dad would say. Like, yeah. What are you wearing sandals? What are you wearing sandals for?
I mean,
there's some leverage, like black shoes at least, right?
Yeah.
But I guess that's my thing, is like, in my ideal world, I can prepare. I can be the dad that I would like to be for my children in the future. You know, I can be one that lets them go out at parties, because we have cell phones now, you know, but I wasn't really allowed to go out to parties in high school and stuff like that. Wasn't allowed to watch Simpsons, wasn't allowed to watch SpongeBob, wasn't allowed to watch a lot of those things, because it would influence me to be a bad person, where that whole goal is to be a good person. And more importantly, I'm not religious like that anymore, where we went to church for the first 11, 12 years of my life, and then we moved, and then we didn't go to that church anymore. It's too far away. So then I stopped going to church. I don't think I'm ever going to go to church like with my own family, other than Easters and holidays and weddings and funerals. And so like, how does that work, where half of my upbringing and listenership is from guilt, and I don't have one mechanism to provide that for them, and two, I don't want to provide that for them, you know? Like, I don't want to be the purveyor of guilt. And for someone who not religious, kind of religious, Marcus?
Not religious, but I do want to answer this question.
What's this question here?
Would you guys be sad if your kids weren't into things that you love, like comics, games, and stuff like that?
See, that would be hard too.
I have that.
Uh-huh.
I actually 100% already experienced this, so it's not actually.
Dad, you fucking dork!
Well,
I wouldn't necessarily be sad, but the mistake that I would want to correct, that like my dad and my mom to a degree made, is that they never made the effort to like take an interest in my interests, right? Like my dad is like classic into sports,
right?
Watches.
He was macho.
Yeah, he doesn't even have a team. Like that's the thing. Like he just watches general sports.
He's just man watching the sport.
Yeah, he's like, he'll watch the Little League World Series just because it's like, it's baseball, it's a sport.
Right.
Whereas me, I'm like, ooh, Spider-Man. And then like when I'm 6, ooh, Goku. And then when I'm 36, ooh, Goku.
Wait, more Goku? Fuck yeah.
He never really took an interest in what I did, like video games or any of the music that I listened to, blah, blah. And that's why we've always kind of had a distance.
Right.
Like, one, my dad was always like off being a truck driver, earning
Optimus Prime.
Right.
Right.
So he wasn't home a lot. And then two, whenever he was home, it was like, I'm gonna watch the TV and we're gonna watch the World Series.
Right, right.
And you're just gonna have to fucking get used to that. So I was like, okay, this is boring. I'm gonna go into my room and play Mario on my black and white TV.
Ooh, Goku.
But I mean, on the note of like your kids not being into, Eva doesn't give a fuck about sports at all. I mean, like
all.
she likes playing volleyball, but
Right.
that's about
Probably
it.
why we get along.
Right. She's not a Cowboy fan though.
No football. No, she's like, at best, Dad, someday you might be able to take me to a soccer game. Has said that, said it's black and
Damn.
white. But I mean, like, I'm into combat sports. Doesn't give a fuck about that. Doesn't like wrestling. But I do what you're talking about, where it's just like I give in to her interests for the most part. So I do see it through a different lens because I'm an adult, but I'm sure
Right.
my dad did too. But it was like I watch basically YouTubers her age that do unboxing videos kind of thing, and it's just like, oh, well, they're talking about toys I might want to buy.
Right.
She watches some sort of VR chat, but it's like kitty, like the main character is a kitty. That's all I can tell you about it.
Okay.
But they do things like play tag or like the thing where you guess what the action, what character they are on their head. kind of
Gotcha.
thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and they're just doing it on VR chat, and I'm like, I mean, I watch streams, so I get it, but it's also kind of like this isn't for me.
So Skibbity Toilet, can you explain?
Well, there was something that her and JJ connected with that I have not.
One Piece?
Well, no, not One Piece.
Well, I have like One Piece. No, but it was like something pop, something.
Pop Goes the Weasel, J-pop, H-pop.
No, it was an anime thing that it was just like it was random skits. It's like. Like
Pop Team Epic.
her and JJ were having a hell of a time watching that together, and it's like Robot Chicken in an anime format
Oh
for
my
12-year-olds.
What the fuck is this?
It's fucking great.
Oh, that's just the intro.
The intros are always different too. What's they're all little short skits. Like one of the ones that I like. and I
Are you
think it's-
upset?
Yeah. Me and my brother say this to each other all the time.
怒ってないよ
Are you upset?
怒った
I am not upset.
怒ってないよ
See, because then I'd be like, stop watching that. Like, that's what I want to say to a kid. I'm like, stop watching that. That's.
But we grew up with
nonsense.
Ren and Stimpy.
Right.
I was allowed to watch Ren and Stimpy.
But and even further on the note of things that she's into that I just don't fucking.
No, but like, I want to yell. Eva, stop watching this. Eva, stop it.
No, don't listen to him.
What's something else?
Are you
And I don't even know what it would be. I am upset. What? No, see, that's what I'm saying. Like, I am no better than my fucking dad and mom and my grandparents because I'm just like,
not even-
no.
That wasn't even the skit I wanted.
I'm sure there's other weirder ones because their mouths look like ball
The one
sacks.
that like makes me laugh really hard. It's in the first episode, and it's just like they're on a plane, and the stewardess is just like chicken or beef, chicken or beef, chicken or beef, and then she gets to the two characters, and she asks the little one, chicken or beef, and the little one gets like offended by the question, like, and the big one has to go, beef.
I don't know what's going on here.
Dude, I'm telling you,
the
it's
first
Robot
episode.
Chicken for babies. Like, that's
It's
all it
fucking
is.
great.
I'm just trying to find. This was the first episode. Oh, funny moments, episode 1. No, I want a regular episode 1.
But I mean, on the of something that she loves, she fucking loves theater. I'll go with her if it ever presents itself. The thing is that her mom is also really into theater, so they got tickets for Beetlejuice 4 months in advance. I don't
That's
even know what the
cool.
fucking calendar is, but so
Wait, so she's into theaters, like musicals? Mm-hmm. Oh, fuck yeah.
So right now, I think she's gonna see Wicked for the first time, and
Oh,
she's really
hell
excited
yeah.
about it. But she told me she was gonna see, because like I said, there's tickets are way in advance. She was gonna see Hamilton, and she was really excited about it. And I was like, "Oh, cool. Well, it's on Disney Plus. We can watch Hamilton right now." And she's like, "No, I want."
Right, she wants to watch the live performance.
I want to experience this.
Right.
Put on Pop Team Epic. I want.
I wish to lol.
That's crazy. I didn't know that about her.
Yeah,
Oh,
no.
hell yeah. I mean, get her to Sacramento. My sister knows all the theater people. We can get her all the shows. But that's what I'm saying. Right away, one test to my nerve, and all of a sudden, I'm just like, stop watching this filth. And it's not bad. It's just silly. Like you said, silly. We watch Flash videos with more crass things in it,
Yeah.
more crass jokes. But like, that's
Ren and Stimpy was way worse than anything that Pop Teen.
weird. It was just weird. But like, so like, that's what I'm saying. Like, in this perfect bubble, and like, here's the worst thought I had, which was, as we've discovered, my girlfriend is very, very into Disneyland and Disney. You know,
fun.
Disney for children, kids are gonna like it. Good times. Disneyland, the amount of times that we would go, that could fucking sour a kid, and that would break my goddamn heart. And don't play this for her or him years later when they're like, Disney fucking sucks, Dad. You dumb asshole.
Well, there is a little bit of a rebellion that comes with everybody. I honestly think that like the violence that you talk about seems to skip a generation kind of thing. So I'm like, yeah, like you're about to have that UFC fighter like kid.
Oh, shit. Because I mean, that's the thing. No, but I think it was all rage monsters before that, though. 'Cause my grandfather was a quiet rage monster. No, my dad was a quiet rage monster. It's a quiet rage monster. We're all quiet rage monsters, is what it is. Is that we're not like out here just throwing our weight around like, oh, we're the biggest, baddest motherfuckers. But if tested, we get angry. Whether it be our own people, whether it be our friends or family, we get angry in response. We never really just fucking get angry for no reason. So no, it didn't skip. It's just different degrees of how do you either make right by it afterward, which is what my dad is working on as a 70-year-old, which I'm proud of him, which is like, fuck, I got mad. How do I actually make this right instead of just being like, fuck everybody, right? And I had that fuck everybody, and I'm working on that now-ish, and now I'm working on the actual just anger part of it. But even then, when I played in 2K, I became a rage monster. My nephew, we were playing 2K. I didn't know the controls because he knew how to set picks and shit. And I'm like, don't throw picks! And I'm like getting legit mad because I'm like, I can't do something. And so there's gonna be somewhere along the line where I'm trying so hard even now. Thanks, Bad G. I'll see ya. Trying so hard to not be what I think my father is, or the perception of what my mother was, in terms of guilt or anger. And like, that's the first thing I did. That's the first thing I did with Pop Team Epic. One thing. So I was like, are we doomed or do we just learn?
I just think like the thing that you have, and to go back to hippy dippy shit, every kid is their own canvas. There's two ways to do it, and I don't. This is gonna be a kind of a racist statement, but
well, think about it and then make it a little
negative.
less racist.
It's not negative, but it's just kind of like there's a certain way that Asian cultures raise their kids, where it's just like they do kind of like through shame and overall thing, like. Amazing at STEM, amazing at almost everything that
right.
They put their
The
brain.
whole adage of A, why not A+?
Yeah,
type of joke.
And the thing that American and even Mexican families do to a degree is just kind of like go be your own person. Like I don't know exactly what the balance is, but I know I'm definitely in be your own person.
Is that universal? Because like we didn't get quite. It was definitely be your own person, but it was like, all right, I taught you things, figure it out, and then you're just kind of like, oh shit. I mean, you have support, but it's like, what do I do now? I was told to do everything. Now I'm not told anything. What do I do now? Is that a universal Mexican thing? I don't know.
But it's not just a Mexican thing. It's also an American thing. Like my white friends are kind of the same way. I have not had enough open conversations with my black friends to know how they grew up.
Right.
But I do know that my Asian friends, like they literally got a violin shoved in their face when they were 4. And it was just like.
I almost got an accordion.
Yeah. And it's like, you're going to learn this.
Your finest polkas, JJ, behind you.
And it's just kind of one of those things where it's just like on one end of the spectrum, that friend graduated valedictorian and is now, they graduated from Harvard as a doctor.
Jesus.
And on the other end of the spectrum, it's like but I don't know if they're happy. Like, I really don't.
Or if they even like their parents.
Yeah.
And now that's the other thing. Do you raise? I'm just asking questions now. Like, do you raise a kid to like you or to be good?
I mean, I will say, like, on that
You
note,
know?
it is not limited to just group and ethnicities, because it wasn't like Tiger Woods and like the Venus sisters, the Serena Williams sisters, like also kind of raising the like, no, you're going to be good at this. Kind of thing.
Right. Also, do we know Peter Pan sexual femboys? Wait, Peter Pan sexual and femboys. Do we know who they are in real life? Because we
I don't
are
know who they
invited to the barbecue this Saturday.
Probably just a general statement, and if it's real, then just hit us up on
We're in
Instagram.
Austin. We're in Austin. Give us the address. If it's not in the Tri-City area, we won't even consider it.
Tri-City area, like what?
That's Dallas, San Antonio.
Oh, I thought you were
Houston.
gonna say. Well, you're including Dallas. I was going the other way. It was like San Marcos, Austin, San Antonio.
You're going sagittarily south. No, but yeah, I don't know. JJ, what are your thoughts and dreams about being a dad? Like, do you think you're gonna be solid? Because I always thought I was gonna be solid, but then I see fucking Pop Team Epic. And I'm just like, stop watching that. Their mouths look like balls. Or are you just gonna be laissez-faire and be like, come watch this with me?
Well, I mean, yeah, when they're a baby, he's gonna watch Goku in Spanish. Like, there's no changing this.
Right.
The one thing that I will probably be like shoved down their throat. You're gonna do this whether you like it or not.
Is One Piece.
No, it's not. It's not even One Piece.
One of us needs to see the end.
Look, boy, it's not gonna be my time.
You will see a light I will never
You
see.
need to tell me how it ends. Visit my grave. It's gonna be the one with the tree.
Serenity, please.
Asian YouTubers did a podcast about this if you want to watch it. Go ahead, JJ.
The one thing that I will shove down my kid's throat, and they could hate me for it, but I sincerely hope they don't, is Spanish.
See, that's... we didn't even get started on that one. Go ahead.
Well, it's just my parents don't. They know enough English to get by, and now with all like the second generation, like all my little or younger cousins, right? They don't really speak Spanish. They know a little to get by, but they can't converse with like my grandma all that well.
Right.
And my parents can converse with those little cousins a little bit. They can kind of understand each other, but there's still going to be that distance between my parents and my future children if Spanish isn't
Part of their language.
yeah. So I'm gonna try to, like, as a dad, I'm going to speak to them in Spanish when possible, teach them whatever little I can when they're young, and like probably watch Spanish media. Like, I'll probably still watch Goku,
Right.
Like, I'm
But
probably
it's gonna
still
be in
gonna
Spanish.
watch Dragon Ball, but it's gonna be in Spanish. I'm probably still gonna watch Spy Family, but in Spanish. Just so that they can get used to it and it's not completely foreign, because when I still have a lot of memories of my youngest cousins like just struggling to ask for something. Like they would have to find me or Paco or any of the older cousins that could translate. And it's like, dude, we already do this every time we go to the store.
Right.
We don't want to do
Can't
this
do it
at home.
for you. Yeah.
So that would be the one, like, you're going to do this whether you like it or not. I'm sorry, but you're going to learn Spanish. Everything else, I'll be like, well, I don't get it, but as long as they're not teaching you anything evil.
So the Bob method.
Yeah, like, well, I mean, that's really what I wish my dad would do, because we have a solid enough relationship now.
Yeah.
But it's still like, we're still pretty distant, and it's still one of those where, like, I don't really call my dad like directly all too often, unless I like need help with something that only he specifically can help me with.
Right.
Hey, Dad, my car's making this funny noise. I never heard it before.
How?
Yeah, like, what do? But my mom, I can call and, like, I mean, I can't really talk to her about my day, especially when I had a job, because my job was very technical.
Right.
And it involved fantasy creatures, and she'd be like, what the hell is a
Pandarian.
Yeah.
It goes back to Satan.
Yeah, what is a Lich King? And I actually knew how to say that in Spanish, and she was still like, "What's un ex anime?"
Shut up, Jordan. Tell my son Pornhub's Google search. Cam, you're reaching in Texas, you fucker.
But I don't have that with my dad, really.
When you bring that up, recalls how this one, I don't blame them, but I'm gonna try to be better, and this will be my last one because we can keep going forever. What the hell is that? Gloves?
That's the only reason I was holding my phone. I was like, I'm gonna teach my kids no glove, no love, and I was like, I'm gonna send
Wow,
gloves over
it took a long time to find gloves. Anyway,
I had to watch an ad.
anyway,
I saw a meme that someone tracked their kid. Yeah, I saw that too.
track how old their kid is by One Piece episodes.
Yeah.
Good.
I do like that
How old is
Serenity
your kid?
gave me.
He's like mid Ennie's lobby.
Serenity gave you what?
Serenity answered the question like when I was talking about the Asian the way Asians are raised kind of thing, and it's like, well, they're not happy, but they're not taught to value happiness.
And that kind of goes into what I'm talking about with. I had a realization about my folks that I can't go to them with emotional things, and it was when Kobe died. So Kobe dying was a fucking sad day for me. Like I said, I keep very few heroes outside of my family, and Kobe was one of them. My sister went to UCLA around the time he went there. He called my house one time, and I have a voicemail from him. I love Kobe Bryant. And so when he died, and then I learned a bunch of people died, and then I learned that his 14-year-old daughter died, and I was already in the midst of a starting depression, and then COVID would soon hit after. But I was already starting a depression before COVID, and I was sad as fuck. And I called my mom, and I was like, yeah, Kobe Bryant died. I'm crying to my mom. And then she's like, why are you crying? It's just this athlete. And I'm like, Ma, it's like the little girl. Does she know that the daughter died as well? I go, no, but a 14-year-old girl, a bunch of 14-year-old girls died. And I was just crying about it. And she just couldn't meet me where I was.
Right.
And I'm like, it's not that she's not empathetic. It's not that she doesn't love me. It's not that she doesn't understand when I'm sad or when I was sad, didn't comfort me when I was a child. But it was with, I guess, a more complex feeling that I had. She didn't know how to field it. And then I couldn't talk to my dad about that. My dad, Kobe, died. And he wouldn't say stop crying, but he'd just be like, people die. And it's like, nah, but like in plane crashes brutally, like, come on.
Helicopter crash.
Helicopter crash brutally, like, come on. And so I realized, oh, fuck, I can't bring my big emotions to them because they don't know how to field it, because they don't know how to handle their big emotions, which, well, that's another time for another topic. But like,
have we done a parenting and therapy episode? I don't think so.
Not strictly therapy, but we can. The idea, though, is that like, oh, fuck, I can't go to them for that. And I really want to be in a position in the future that my children could come to me with emotional stuff, with their feelings. Because I, as much of a big feeler I am, I do lock a lot of feelings away. I lock a lot of my intentions away because of how I think other people would feel if I feel them too much. In the sense that, like, my girlfriend's great at pulling it out. She'll be like, where do you want to eat? I go, don't worry about it. Just wherever you want to go. And she'll be like, no, but like, where do you want to eat though? And I'll be like, Carl's Jr. And she'll be like, we'll go to Carl's Jr. I'm like, but I don't want to be a burden. I get real I get real small. And she'll be like, no, you want to go to Carl's Jr. And I'm like, I think I kind of do. And I want to be able to let my kid voice those types of things, whether it's as Saul as going to Carl's Jr. or, hey, Dad, I don't know how to cry anymore. Like, I'm too sad to cry, or something, something where they're just like, I don't know how to feel. I don't know how to act. I don't know what I should do. And instead of trying to be so pragmatic, just listen. I don't know. It's weird.
I'm just laughing because what's it called? Eva's mom is still very much a disciplinarian. Like, she does things in a way where it's just kind of like, I'm the captain of the ship and we're going to work together to make the house work,
right?
Kind of thing. I don't do that. And I haven't seen a lot of parents like me, but I also remember having this conversation with one of the One of Us crew where I was just kind of like, I have a kid, but I don't ever talk about it because no one here has kids.
Right,
so
right.
It's like me talking about war, or even me just talking about playing football. It's just like these guys ain't gonna relate. I'm not gonna talk. I'm not gonna talk, so I don't talk about it. But he asked me how old I was, and I think at the time I was 27 or 28. And then he was like, "Yeah, these guys ain't gonna have kids till they're 38." Like,
damn.
And then by that point, you're almost gonna be like, the end of the tunnel is near, kind of thing.
Right.
I don't remember even who this dude was, but I just remember him telling me that, and I'm like, yeah, the math is mathing right now.
Right.
Kyle is like 34, and he's the first one to have a kid.
Right.
So
And then Zach had a baby.
Yeah.
And he was shortly after there. She's not much younger.
Yeah.
And so, but like, he's like mid-30s, Zach.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be, like I said, within 5 years puts me at 38, right on the dot, right? Now, I'm not saying it's going to take the full 5 years, but let's just say it puts me at 35. I think that's when my dad had his last kid at 37. He had me at 37.
Yeah.
And it's like, shit, man. Like, that's like right there. That's right near the end of his. I mean, my girlfriend's older than I am, so she's at the end of her. She's buzzer beating her clock, right?
Yeah.
So unless we freeze, and even then, that worked out for my cousin who had kids at 43. So technology's there, but it's just like we've pushed it so far, and I wonder what we've gained from it by pushing it further. I mean, you're even compared to your folks, I'm sure later.
Yeah,
but even then.
But the point that I was
a decade after you
that I was going to bring up, and it's funny because like Eva's 9, it's like I'm halfway done. Like,
oh, Jesus Christ!
But when it comes to what's it called? What was I going to say? When it comes to the way that I raise kids, it's just like, oh, well, you're feral, I'm feral, we'll be feral together. The only other person I know that does that is actually my friend Langford that you'll meet on Sunday. He has a kid, and his kid is also like pretty crazy for a 3-year-old. Like, he runs around and throws shit all over the time. But one time he threw something, and I just remember it made a loud bang. Like, he hit the back of the truck window. He was like, "Hey, bud, we don't throw things here." Like, that was the tone and everything. "Hey, bud, that's not nice. We don't throw things here." And he stopped. Like, it was just kind of like he respected his dad. His 3-year-old brain didn't hit him, didn't raise his voice, didn't do it.
One of my, well, I mean, he's a fucking man now.
Yeah.
Like, he graduated college. But when he was a kid, one of my younger cousins, his dad was very much like that. Where, I mean, he wasn't super feral, like, but whenever he was doing something that his dad didn't like, and like it became a joke amongst like my extended family because they all lived in Fort Worth,
right?
Like, you're in the DFW area, so they all like went to each other's houses every birthdays, everything, blah blah. But it became a joke amongst them that someone had a Mr. Face, because that's the way my uncle would tell my cousin, "Stop it." He'd be like, "Hey, mister." And that's all he'd say. And my cousin would be like, "Mr. Face." And he'd stop. He'd be like,
Right.
"Oh, okay, I'm fucking up. I'm going to get like."
Right. I'm on. Oh, shit. Oh, man. We all have our things, and I feel like we could go on forever, so we will. All right. Here we go. Next 4 hours. Let's do this. No, actually, I will call it there, and I think we're almost due for our recycle round of our episodes. Start back at episode 1 and cycle back, baby. We'll do a couple more, but remember how we said we need to come back to our old Mas o Menos episodes?
Oh, we've already started doing that. We've talked about parenting before. This is like our 3rd or 4th parenting episode. And it's actually kind of... It was funny when I came up with this because it was all based on like those magic cards. I was like, I don't know if there's anyone that's talked about this subject in this kind of a lighthearted way. Because the only thing it is those memes about like, oh, my mom beat me with the belt and the wire hanger kind of thing.
Remember, man, when the lowrider, my dad hit me with the lowrider because I was enacting right, man. Don't worry, we can turn to that podcast right now, man. Let's do this for the TikTok, man.
I don't think that
Remember when my mom hit me with the chancla, man?
The problem is, all those dudes that you're referencing got TV shows, and they all failed, so might as well be ourselves.
But do you remember the Chunkla Man?
I think Trollofit got a fucking Amazon show that lasted like 3 episodes.
It was 2 seasons, man. But don't worry about it, man. I'm just saying, man.
I'm actually surprised out of all those people, the dude that did the racist puppet thing got a movie on Amazon.
Did he really?
Yeah, it's like Musica something, but it's Marcos something.
Well, you know what, folks?
And if you give Sam $5, he'll review that movie.
If you give me $50 like Joe Gira did, I will do a whole episode in my East LA accent. All right, folks, that's it for Más o Menos Mexicanos. Thank you for joining the show. It's going to get even worse than that. There's Marcos, there's Shay, and I'm Sammy Gonzalez. There, I can't even say my name in the Spanish accent. Goodbye, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
I don't even know what accent this is anymore.
It's just called Musica. They know it.
Buenas noches.
¿Dónde está la biblioteca?
A cruzar la calle, güey.
Mexican Americans don't like to get into gang fights. They like flowers and music. And white girls named Debbie, too.